Hey, how's it going? Anybody that's listening? Or will be listening, I should say. It's called Religion Dystopia, known versus belief. So I got a very interesting teaching, I would call it. Anyways, there's the man, green man of the trees of the forest. Let's see, the 20th, that was a week ago. I had very strange. Hey, Brenda, how's it going? This should be interesting. This should reveal a lot if you stick it out. Is not the greatest of communicators, but yeah. So the 20th, which was a week ago, that day I started having some, supernatural experiences. I'm doing okay. Thank you for asking. How are you doing, Brenda? Thank you for asking. I would type in there, but probably best to talk. So what happened was I was supposed to go to the dentist, and when I went to the dentist, I was a little bit late. Normally, if you're 10 minutes late, it's not that big of a deal, but it was on Mondays. So, and what was interesting for me was across the street, there's railroad tracks. It's not even across the street. It's actually just you get the parking lot to the dentist's office. Then if you go west, maybe about 20 yards, there's railroad tracks. And then on the other side, you have some trees. And I saw a teepee structure being built right in front of my dentist's office. And I said, I'm going to go back home, get my P900 and do some filming. It's the first time of the year, and what the heck? Cool. I hope you stick it out, Brenda. So we get some fascinating images that I have filmed within the trees or popping out of the trees. I strongly believe there's a strong association with Sasquatch, Bigfoot, the trees, spirits. Some people call them tree devils, tree apes, blah, blah, blah. They're not all the same thing, but people are, if I'm interacting with them, pretty confident that other people out there doing their field research are going to be interacting with these spirits. And you're going to be shocked because some of them look very human-like, very much so. Where do I begin with all of this? That's the question. So what was happening was, so here is the pseudo teepee structure across the I think I showed this already a couple times. It's not very impressive, but you have eyes to see, there's something's going on, right? So I started taking pictures, and then it started actually in my neighbor's yard. Going east, it would be 2 houses down on the other side of the railroad tracks. The railroad tracks, ironically, circumstantially, these railroad tracks are pretty close to where I'm sitting right now. I do believe that the railroad tracks, the rocks, have a relationship, if you will, in which seeing things many times that look like Sasquatch or Bigfoot, right? Now, I don't think we're necessarily dealing with the same things as what the folks are dealing out west or up north. But here down in Ohio, we got this called the grass man, and we got boogers and Sasquatch and dogmen and all that jazz. But the thing is, regardless, we have other things going on. And where should I go? Look at that image. And I did a video about it. And I know when I do my little videos with music, I don't really do much explaining. I let people's eyes see. Well, those who have eyes to see, they will see. Those who don't have eyes, well, they just won't see. And it's just the way it is. And Not trying to be a jerk or anything, but let's see, where we go. Where art thou? Oh, image. Yes, indeed. Where art thou? You should be that difficult to find. Give me a break. Yeah. That can't be it. Okay. Have a little patience with me. I will find it this way. So in this image, it doesn't look like much at all, right? It just looks like a tree, right? Until you look in a little closer. And what you're going to see is some fascinating images, shadows, if you will, spiritual beings, shadows of spirits. By the way, there's going to be a guy, there's going to be a couple gals, there's even going to be a Roman Catholic bishop, literally. So, what does this all mean? That's the big question, right? So, if we start going it down here or looking around this area, we're going to see some very interesting shadows right here. You're going to see a dude. What's up, Paradox? Fossils. You can see that. And you're going to see a gal below her. You're even going to see an entity right here. Even a Roman Catholic bishop. I am not making this up. And the relationship with the underworld and the middle world and trees is shocking. And it is something that's been hidden from us, but not anymore, at least those who have eyes to see. I'm just trying to get myself organized here because when you see this one gal with her leg and everything, you're going to be like, what? Let's see. Let's start with this gal. So let's see. So she's right here, and you can see her hair, and you'll be able to even see her face. She even has a Bigfoot sitting on top of her head. It's shadow, I know, but let's remember the spiritual realm is a big part of it. Now, if we look at this one right here, and we have to ask ourselves, what are we dealing with, right? If you can see, you can even see her eyes. You look, you got an eyebrow, even her eyes. She got a nose. She got a mouth. She's almost like she's screaming out for help or something, right? And it's just like an entity's on top of her head, but you can see her even the long hair. Let's see what's going on here for a second, in case there's some kind of audio problems or something. Oh, it's Craig. Hey, Craig. If you hear this, hey, Craig. Oh, yeah. The kelpa tree or the baobab tree. 5,000-year-old tree. Very sacred tree that people go and worship. Anyways, back to this. Where are you? Okay, so here she is. Tell me if you can see her. What's up, Hatchet Mouth? 5 seconds being here, and I'm already creeped out. Well, that's the way it goes, man. Sorry. Don't mean it to be that way, but it's the way it is, man. So, right there, you see her face once again. this is a spirit popping out of a tree, and I've been arguing for quite a while now that Sasquatch, Bigfoot have a strong relationship with the energy and the life force of the trees. But I also believe there's many other spirits, and I believe that a lot of people or humans are somehow caught in the underworld and the middle world in this realm, this frequency, this uh, I don't know how you describe it. Be honest with you, um, but I can see now why people spend. I mean, there's going back to that Bob tree, this 5,000-year-old tree, is a very sacred tree in which people will actually go and worship at. And we talk about the groves and how in the Bible it talks about people who went to the groves to worship their spirits and their ancestors. And hell be damned, there are actually people or things, entities that are stuck inside it. Why is this so important as somebody who does Bigfoot research? Well, how many times have we heard people talking about when they're out in the woods or doing their nighttime research, they hear footsteps and things going on around them. Also, let's be honest about things. We've never seen a Bigfoot actually make a teepee structure or any tree structure. So then the argument then becomes what is actually doing it? Since we don't know for sure that it's Bigfoot, could it actually be ancestral spirits involved in all this? You know, there are many other traditions of other cultures that argue that point. See, that's why it's so important. See, it's not about let's try to remove our religious and our cultural bias about this stuff. Let's stop assuming we know exactly what's going on, because we don't. And therefore, we have to make a decision how we're going to go about researching. Let's see what's going on here. So Brenda, we may start posting some stuff. So Brenda had problems. Thank you, Paradox. 5 seconds since it's going to be creepy, man. It's I believe that those are called dryads. It's an ancient myth and fantasy paperback. Could be. You never know, man. Check out Colorado. I know Colorado Bigfoot Dave Jones. I know him since 2017. Actually, I used to do paintings and send images to him of the entities that I filmed in his videos. I eventually got, I was like, there's no point in me doing that. Dryads, folk, ETs, I started becoming more aware in 2007 and got to the point I can see and hear them without cameras now. Yeah, I believe that. Yeah, I do. And I don't know if I want to go to that point yet. First started noticing orbs and listen, I got an entity. If we've got time, I found an entity popping out of a tree holding an orb in his hands. Honest to God. So, anyways, we can see here once again this woman, this thing, this being that kind of looks like a woman, right? And once again, you can see her eyes, her eyebrows. There's her hairline. It's almost like she got it in part. You can see the nose. Then she got this mouth. Then she got her chin, and that's her front. And you can see that she has very long hair, just popping out of a tree. Now, mind you, most people, hey, Sheldon, my right-hand man is here. Cool. Just wondered, right, Sheldon, we got one heck of a show, man. We got one heck of a show tonight. Thank you. Who not sure I wanted to see much of paranormal. Well, I think that let's stop thinking about paranormal and all the scary stuff and ghost stuff and let's start thinking about the complete, what this creation is that we're in. And stop it. I don't think it's necessary to be afraid about this stuff, but I think it's more important to be to understand our creation in its fullness. Right? We got a lot going on here, and it's important as researchers and say if it comes to Sasquatch and Bigfoot, that not only the paranormal's involved and quote unquote UFOs involved. In fact, there's everything's involved with this because we're dealing with something that has been labeled, I think it's by Keel with a K, Keel, ultra dimensional. Here's this example once again of this where she is, but above her is a dude. And there's this thing here too. So, and this stuff up here. But if we look real closely at the dude above her, mind you, she's got like this monkey thing on top of her head. Now I knew listen, these are we hear about shadow beings, right? Or shadow entities. People will see things that look like a shadow. Many times Bigfoot, when people film it, there's jet black and it seems like a shadow. And so I think it's very important to talk about this stuff and not just avoid it and say, oh, it's not, I'm only interested in one facet. When, unfortunately, we're dealing with something like, as they say, was it Gregory Little? Was it Gregory Little that coined it? We're searching for a needle and a haystack of needles when it comes to Bigfoot research, or if it comes to UFO research, or blah, blah, blah. Well, I also want you to pay attention to some of the coloration on the trees. There is some kind of EMF or energy emitting off of this tree. Now, I argue that eventually these things are what's going on with this stuff. Eventually kills the tree. If there's too much of it. And, we are so disconnected from our reality at this point that and we have to be honest about this. How many of us even bother to look at a tree these days, let alone spend any significant time alone really observing our environment for real? We're so busy driving all over the place, hurry up to go in one box to another box to another box. That's our lives. It's okay to be honest about it. And I'm not knocking anybody because this is a creation that we all live in. It's almost like a prison if you think about it. But if you look at this dude, this is where he is. This is the top of his head. You can see his nose, his mouth. Is he a Bigfoot? I don't know, but there's his hand. And he's sitting right there. And then above her, that's him above her. So then she's got like this Bigfoot thing top over her head, and you can see her face. Now, you can say this is just pareidolia all you want, but you're not being honest if you do. You're not being honest. And so we have to deal with this. We do have to deal with this. If we're honest about our research, we have to deal with this topic because it's part of what's called Bigfoot research. And there's no way of avoiding it. So unless you want to just, play, we'll just watch videos all day long and if everybody else tell us what's going on, so we find it out for ourselves. This is just how I see it. Now, if you notice, running up this, and this is, I'm telling you now, the trees, nothing's budding yet. There's nothing's happening. This is February. This is February the 20th. This is last week. So it was not warm enough for leaves to start, budding out and stuff like that. So what you're seeing as far as red is, it's either an interesting light anomaly from, say, the sun, or there's some kind of energy being emitted from here. let's see what's going on here. By the way, I would love to have any of you guys to come in. Listen, just talk. You don't have to be great as far as you don't have to show your face. You don't even have to know much because we're all learning together, right? Maybe you do have experiences. Maybe you experience with Bigfoot or with paranormal or what's going on in the forest. I think it's an important topic. So I'm going to put the link in here. And any of you guys, if anybody wants to, who can, just follow the link and the directions, come on board. Just have fun with us. So I got it there. I got both O.R.d 2, the Fortean Eremite live right now, and O.R.d 3. So where are we at now? Because you see, okay, let's see what it said. They all blend together and project images that may of many incarnations they have. Listen, I think that there's something seriously going on here that are I mean, I've been like this hardcore Christian, and it ain't flying with what's going on here. So I have to be honest about it. You know what I mean? Something's seriously going on here. What do we mean by reincarnation? What does it mean when the many other cultures say that people get stuck in the lower level or the underworld in the middle? What are we dealing with? Are these people, is this where we're going to end up? Hey, mate, wait until you see the Roman Catholic bishop because he even got a mitre on his head. I ain't making this stuff up. Man. Because this is just real deal stuff. So anyways, the next thing is right in this location, but you can see pretty well if you just pay a little bit of attention. You can see the eyes, the nose, right? Is that a Bigfoot? No, it's not a Bigfoot. And by the way, what we're going to be watching today and looking at, I'm not here to knock anybody or any particular group, although I do recommend from my observations that you might want to get out of some of these groups, these religious groups, especially the ones that have been responsible for the slaughter, murder of billions of people. So anyways, if you find out, man, I've been studying about what was really going on here before Christopher Columbus and even the past 500 years, if you'd realize, oh my God, they lied to us about everything. They really did. Anyways, you can see that there's some kind of energy, something that it's emitting. And why I'm saying that is because you see all this red. These are just silver maples. They're not budding. It's not budding at all. They got another 2 months to even start thinking that. This is a very interesting image. You can see the eye here and kind of the head forming here. You see this energy emitting from it, this red. You notice that it's not like universal and just one side. And mind you, this is like 1:47 in the afternoon. So, and where the sun's at, you can see a head right here. You see the nose. Now you can certainly. Which I haven't tweaked any of these images, but there's something going on. You can see even his ear. You can see his eyebrow. You can see his eye. Can you see that guy? You guys, can you tell me? Can you see what I see? Can you see a head manifesting out of that tree? Can you see the eye? Now they talk about the green man, right? How many entities have I filmed in the trees? Especially when the leaves are out. They are green. Green is all get out. Green men. Of course, we don't want to have these scary looking images, right? And but they do have something called the tree devils, tree people, or stick people. Remember that. Now I know it's not referring to these specifically, or is it? You see, because the Native Americans were just like all the rest of us. There was the inner group of higher initiate shamans that knew exactly what was going on, but the general populace got nothing more but these convoluted, more earthly, worldly, moral tales, not the deeper meaning of what's going on. We have the technology today. We know anybody that's doing what I'm doing, real fast that there's stuff in the sky, there's stuff on the ground, stuff in the trees, stuff all around us. Stuff I'm talking about that we generically just say spirits, right? But we have no idea. We have no idea what the hell's going on. At one point people did. One people did. They say, yes, I saw a face today on my lawn. So as I slowly walked towards it, then it suddenly was just, yeah, it happens all the time, right? And they talk about the trickster spirits. And, one of the things that happens once they know that they start showing themselves. This is going to happen if you get involved with this. That's why I need to talk about it. Can't just I think it's extremely irresponsible for a lot of us who are in this field, especially a Bigfoot research, and we don't talk about this. It all has to be about Bigfoot. Well, how do we know? How many times, if somebody films something, it looks just like the silhouette of a Bigfoot, or it kind of looks like it's blurry. It looks like a Bigfoot. It even moves, but it's doesn't behave like a flesh and blood being. And that's the way it goes. And that's the reality of the situation. I'm not judging anybody and how they perceive these things and what they think it is, and if this is their best friend or not. That's their business. This one's going to blow you away for sure. This looks like a woman or a hag, or some people would say it's a witch, or I don't know what the hell it is, but it's stuck in this tree. It's right there. You check this out. This is going to be shocking. Okay, first of all, this right here is a leg. Follow my cursor. There's a leg, there's a kneecap, and there's the foot. It's got for an entity. It's got these really large feet for it. You can see the back of the calf, the back of the leg. There's the top of the thigh. There's something going on here, like it's wearing some kind of cloak, right? Black cloak. You can see her hand. There's the thing popping out of her, like an entity right here. And then, if you pay attention, there's a freaking eye, a nose, a mouth. I know it's blurry. I'm not going to tweak it because I just don't feel that I need to. You just have to just look. Tell me if you can see it. Why is this important? People said that they see footprints, but we never see Bigfoot actually do it. So how do we know it's something that the Sasquatch or Kitcheseve, and it's not some other kind of spirit that's creating the footprints? We don't know this. And we have to be honest about that. Unless you actually see the thing, and some people do see it, but some people don't. Look at the kneecap. Look at the thigh, the kneecap, the big feet. Then she's got this cloak around her. She's got some kind of entity or baby or right there. And you can see the eyes, the nose, and the mouth. The face is all shriveled up. I've seen something similar to that before. Let's see if I still even got it. I filmed something like this last May, and you can see the black hands. I'll bring it up so you can see a little better. Okay, there's the nose. I think it's one of the same things. They see those shriveled up face and the skin, and that crazy looking mouth. You can see the black hands. You can see the finger right here. This hand is perfect almost. There's a finger. You can see the knuckles, and it's covering her eyes. Yes, I can see it. It takes practice, folks, but it's once you can see it, you can't unsee it. That's for sure. I mean, there it is. So now we see her, we see kind of her weird looking face in a tree, by the way, right in a tree. Very important to keep this up and keep talking about this. And people say, well, I don't care about this. Well, if you don't care about this, then you're really not that interested in Bigfoot research. I just don't believe you are. Because what I mean by that is that it's all connected. So remember, look at this thing right here. It says it got like this teeth, all shriveled up face. You can see the eyes. It's just sitting there in this branch or just in this tree, caught. It's got a little entity right there. And you can see there's one knee, this kneecap right here. You can see there's energetic, something's manifesting here because it's red, very red. And then there's the other leg with the big distorted foot, very large foot. It's like they're trying to reveal something to me and to you, if you care to look. And that is, there's other entities that can make big footprints. Now, people talk about this. They see this in holy places and in churches and cathedrals and in temples, and they'll say that they've seen footprints in the carpet and stuff like that. And you can't just say it's all Bigfoot if you're being honest. You can't. And so if it's not all Bigfoot, but yeah, there's feet prints and there's tree structures, then we have to now broaden our horizons here and say, okay, it's not it's what people have been telling us. It's just been their guess, and it's our responsibility to, when we find higher truths, higher knowledge, to take that and break it down, bring out what we can as truth and move forward, right? You can't just stay stuck. What is happening, what I see it clearly is what's happening, is that we're staying stuck because we're like, we're tribal in our nature, right? We find a group to belong to, right? We think we're in the right path because we're with this group and we think we got some great wisdom, right? Because we know something more about something than other people, until we discover that there's more to the story. Then you find out no one wants to talk about that, nor more to the story. Now, and you have to ask yourself, why is that? And why are we like that? She's scary looking, that's for sure. But you know what? Listen, it's there, it exists. There's a correlation with the spirit realm and trees, and there's just no way getting around it. There's no way, you could put your head in the sand like some of the others, or you say, okay, this is part of the big picture. Let's see, what is this one about? I don't know what this one's about. Let's look into it and see if we can see anything bizarre and strange. Oh, yeah, you can kind of see something here in this one. This is in the same tree. You can see some kind of energetic thing going on here with the red, right? We talk about red eyes. Does red eyes really mean anger? How about if red eyes is a type of energy, a type of EMF, some kind of, I don't know what to say, except that we're thinking more energetic, right? Screenshot these and study them. It does help. Yeah, it does. Absolutely. And if you got your own like editing software, then edit it. I don't care. But you just look at this. This is a spirit. It's manifesting as several spirits, and you can see the you can just see it's just like changing. It's like red, right? The color red. I'm not doing a very good job of explaining what I'm looking at. I mean, I've had so much revealed to me in this because the past month that it's shocking. I don't even know where to begin with it. And the problem is, to be honest with you, I have no one to talk about it. And when I usually do, it's usually somebody that's like wants to just, use it for some kind of personal purpose. Red eyes, infrared vision. Could be. You might be right about that. Or maybe it's some kind of just freak, if you look at the EMF and the light spectrum. I should look this up real fast. I'm screwing it up. There it is. I just passed it. So the visible spectrum, right? The electromagnetic spectrum, right? And in the very middle of it is what we can see with our naked eyes. It's the visible light. But if you go from one end where there's AMF, FM, not AMF, AM, FM, TV, radar, Wi-Fi. This is one end spectrum, right? And that's the large size of waves. And then the smaller goes over to the atomic size with radioactive elements and X-ray machines and the sun and all that. So maybe that's in that spectrum, right? Maybe it is evil. It certainly doesn't look pretty. But this one's going to be very revealing to you guys as well. And this is actually, you're going to see a rib cage, you're going to see bones in the tree. Now, it's red there as well. But pay attention to what I'm doing with my cursor, okay? I didn't put it on any video yet, but there's the rib cage. There's a rib right there, right here, right here, right here, right here. You can see that, right? You can see some of the kind of bones, and there's even a head in the middle of it. There's right here, like it's like I don't even think it's a human bones, but what's it doing in the tree? I mean, you see, there's some of the ribs. I'll back up a little bit. You can see it don't belong in that tree. It's just there. It's just there. Oh, we can't talk about it, Hell, you know what? I have to be honest with you. As much as I suck at this, there should be, several dozen people at least watching this, right? I don't know. I guess some people just don't want to learn, I guess. This one's going to blow you away because this is and I have filmed now several guys that look like monks and look like Roman Catholic priests and Jesuit priests. And when you pay attention to this, remember, this is a spirit manifesting out of the tree. So it's going to be translucent, but somehow it's there. I'm going to show it to you. And you're going to think I'm full of it, but it's there. So if you can already see this, the miter. You can see the backside. You know how the miter has like that opening? And there's his head. Well, and there's even that little thing that's in the back of their head, miter. Maybe it's not even a Roman Catholic priest. Maybe it's another type of priest that look like a Roman Catholic priest. Maybe it's an ancestral priest or from the past. Maybe a lot of these people are stuck through the rites and rituals. Remember, a lot of times, a lot of cultures, not all, you got to remember something. 500 years ago, in North America, Central America, there were thousands of different cultures. And there are people that look white, and some that look African, and some look Asian. They don't all look like, quote unquote, Native Americans. And many of them were slaughtered. And that's the truth. If you study your true history about North America, they knew about this place forever. So they just came over here and conquered it. The next time to take a picture in clear sky, then adjust the clarity and contrast filter, if you will. You see them there. Yeah. I didn't even see these guys. I just took a picture, right? He said, oh, that's a good place. I sensed something was over there, but I didn't know what it was. But if you look real close here, I mean, you guys tell me, can you see the it's only 3 people, transparent, like priest with the mitre on top of his head? If you need help, once again, this is the mitre. That's the front. That's the back. This top of his is his. And by the way, it could have been something very similar to a Roman Catholic. Maybe way back then, maybe there was people that high priest and all that had similar hats to what we have today in the Roman Catholics. Because the Roman Catholicism is just a hodgepodge of other people's religions, right? But if you look very closely, there's his nose. There's one eye. There's another eye. You can even see the wrinkles. And here's his face. Can you guys see that? Can you tell me if you can see that or not? Let me know, please. The 2 of you. Tell me if you can see that. I can't believe it. It's like, can't get anybody to be interested in this stuff. Just tell me silly stories and this is gossip. Well, listen, what if we really are in the middle of a spiritual warfare? What if it's real? What if, okay, Catholicism, all that, or Christianity and all this, maybe they hijacked it, right? Maybe. You see it, Sheldon? Isn't it amazing, Sheldon? We're like, there's like this, it'd be like you have a handful of people in the whole world to know the truth. Listen, this goes beyond just the spirits in the trees, or it's just some optical illusion, or that, it's just simply paranormal research. We're talking about a reality. And I got a hunch that what's going on here in these trees also has influenced us in ways that you and I can't understand. Like maybe the people that are the plantation runners, the people that run this plantation, whether they come from out of the Vatican and the British Crown or all the other places there, or the oligarchs and elites and that like to fart around in the District of Columbia. By the way, did you know the District of Columbia, Washington D.C.'s original name was Rome, Maryland? Look it up. I didn't make it up. If you think that the largest monarchy in the world, which is the Vatican, that then gives the profane, that's you and I, they see us the profane, just minimal knowledge, so that they can hold on to the truth. What's up, Davy Jones? See, they all kneel before the King of Kings. They say, our scriptures say that they will. In the meantime, these things are stuck in the trees. And so I'm just curious if there is a connection with, it talks about parishes. I'm not going to get religious here, but just think about this, okay? In the New Testament, it talks about, the most famous line that everyone knows about. God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten Son. Whoever believeth on him should not perish, but have everlasting life. And so what do they offer people? They give them the opportunity to belong to a parish. And in these parishes, if you are a good boy or girl, you'll go places. If you're a bad boy and girl, you'll never go places in the world. You read between the lines. And a lot of people, I'm talking billions of people, have been slaughtered under this institution. who didn't agree with them, like the Gnostic Christians, which is a very smart thing to do, is to study it. I talk with them, and they are very concerned with the possible outcome and natural world becoming infected with toxic waste. Well, it already is, isn't it? So, Michael, Fossil, Davy Jones, hey fellas, how's it doing, Christy? How you doing? So we're looking at the spirit. I don't know if you can see it. We can come back and see it again, but it's got a mitre on its head. It's the front of the mitre. And then there's the back. And there's the top of it. You can see the eyes and the wrinkles. You can even see the nose. So there you go. This one's fascinating as all get out. This is like looks, when we get done looking at this, you're going to see good. I'm glad you're doing well, Christy. You're going to see this in this tree. It looks like a young girl, and it's got a really long stick armish hands. Exaggerated. If you can't see it, you're going to see it. I guarantee you. First of all, just to give you some help here, this is the long wrist. Then these are the fingers, the hand, and then it goes down like this. This is the back of her arm, the top of her arm, or her tricep will be. There's her shoulder. This would be where her chest is and all that. And you'll see her nose, her hair. You'll see her two eyes and eyebrows. You will see this. As I pointed out, you'll see there's an eye and an eye. You see the eyebrows. There's nose. And you see the hand. Can you guys tell me that you see that or not? Let me know. Exaggerated arm, by the way. Kind of long, like when we talk about Sasquatch and Bigfoot, right? They have really like long arms. We saw one earlier, the gal, right? The old lady with the big feet. If you didn't see it, everybody that haven't seen it, you need to go back to the beginning of this. You have to. Why? Because you're going to start understanding what's going on in the woods. And so when you hear all this stuff about, oh my gosh, I heard all this stuff running around and parallel with me and all that, but I couldn't see it and all that, or big feet, you can say, well, that doesn't mean it was Bigfoot. There's something else going on. The sugar here? No kidding. Okay, that's awesome. So can you tell me, let me know if you can see the girl, the lady reaching out. I'll do it one more time, just so you can have, it's important. It's not about, don't think about just paranormal or ghosts and all that. Let's think about what's going on in the trees, what's really happening. Now, this is the top of her hair. She's got this black hair. There's one eyebrow. There's another eyebrow. You can even see her eyes and the whiteness of her eyes. You can see her nose. This is top of her arm where the tricep is and deltoid. This is the, oh, that's not tricep. This is the bicep. And this would be the tricep, or I said earlier, tricep. This is her chest. You can even see a nipple if you pay attention. For an hour's worth. This is the hand reaching out. And you can see a finger right here, a finger right here, a finger right here, and a finger right here. Huh? You can even see an entity in front of her. Here's a mouth, and there's two eyes, and the mouth. It even has teeth, and it even has eyebrows. And it's in the tree, right? Now, why are we doing this? Once again, when people go out in the woods and we film these things or we have these encounters, there's a lot more going on than meets the eye. And so if we're not going to be honest about that, and everyone's, it seems like we don't want to be honest about it, but if we don't become honest about it, you can't just say every time you hear, say, a tree break or a tree knock, that it's a Bigfoot. We can't do that if we're honest. If we're truly honest, If we're truly honest, we have to say, well, did you see the Bigfoot knock on the tree? No. How do you know it was Bigfoot then? I don't. Somebody else said that's what they do. Right? Okay. Tree break. It's got to be Sasquatch. How do you know that it was a Sasquatch that did that? Well, I know because that's what everyone says it is, right? It's like a religion. We do this all the time in all many things in our lives, and we have to be much more honest about things and more vigilant about what we believe in. If you don't have evidence for what you're believing in, you must develop that adaptability, the willingness to say, this is what I believe, but there's more evidence now that suggests that I was wrong and I need to go a different direction. And so what I'm trying to say is that a lot of things that we are claiming to be Bigfoot aren't Bigfoot. And we're dealing with a much bigger picture. Now, does that, it's just becoming honest. That's all it is. I don't know why it's so difficult. All I can think is it's got to be peer pressure. Even as adults, we suffer with it. We're worried about what other people think about us. People that, listen, there's, people in like the Bigfoot community, which most of our interaction with Bigfoot community is online with people that you'll never see in your life. And if you do, it'll be in some convention. So why not get honest about the whole thing? And if everyone else rejects us for being honest, that's the price that happens. And by the way, we'll just be trailblazers for the truth. How about that? So that people after us will be like, oh, okay. I'm not saying Bigfoot's not real because I've seen it. I've had 2 up-close encounters and multiple sightings. 2 up-close, and I'm saying they're within 15 feet of my freaking face. So I know they exist. But I also know that at the same time, when these things are around that we call Bigfoot, Sasquatch, other things are going on. And if we don't talk about it, if we don't warn people about it, people can end up having a miserable life over it. And we don't even want to be honest about that. Well, that's a good attitude to have, Christy. Yeah, don't. It's right. Don't worry about what other people think. My argument is, why don't we just try to pursue the truth? Why don't we work together on it? You know what I mean? Let's work together on finding the truth. Let's support each other and say, you know what? Here's some data. Here's some information. And you know what? Now we're a little bit wiser and a little bit smarter what's going on. And there are beings that look very human-like that live in the trees and manifest in the trees when there's I can't help it, but that's what happens, right? And it happens many times. I want to tell you, my second major encounter, it was just the beginning of 3 days of spiritual warfare and torment until I had enough of it. Oh, actually, I started fighting against it, but once I had enough, you know what I mean? It's like something changed psychologically and dimensionally and spiritually. And these things started saying, they stop harassing me. I mean, I know they're there, but they don't, they're not at my house. They're not tormenting me like that those 3 days and had all the craziest crap you could ever imagine for 3 days. And by the way, it wasn't Bigfoot. It was the things that came along with Bigfoot. I can't help that. That's what happens. And it happens to a lot of us, and we can't talk about any of that. We're still at the stage in 2023, just people finally get comfortable enough to say they saw a Bigfoot. Now imagine what it comes down to. We start talking about the deeper issues of what happens and what's around. And maybe this is just for mature audience only. I don't know. I don't want to sound like that way, but it seems like it's like mud, with all the elements. I mean, I'm telling you, there's a reason why shamans and people that call themselves witches and blah blah blah. You know what I mean? They have all these different names, but basically, at the end of the day, they're people that are working with the elemental spirits, spirits, spirits. I'm telling you. By the way, MK Davis. Let's have our prayers with him because he has it was massive. It's really weird too with her head. It's like it almost looks like the hair is made. It's like she's made up of different entities, but you can see her head and her eyes once again. She looks like a cartoon character. See, there's the eyes, eyelid, eyebrows. You can see the nose. There's the mouth. Now, I wish I was just making it up. I wish I was just paranoid. I really do wish it was paranoia. Let's see. You guys must be talking to someone else somewhere else. Christy, where are you at? Where are you watching me? You watching me on one of the YouTube channels or on Facebook? I try not. I don't mean to be rude, people. If you're making comments or you're somewhere else, and I'm not saying hi, I'm not trying to be rude. It's just I'm live on 3 different platforms right now, which so I know some guys somehow they pull it off. I watched a show where they're on like a dozen and a half, but I don't know how they pulled that off. But then again, they had like 3 guys working on it at the same time. So I'm trying to do all the stuff. It's just too much. You're watching on YouTube. Which channel are you watching on, Christy? Yeah, guys, tell me which channel you're on. So if there's a certain channel everyone's going to, then and one that's not, maybe we just stay on the one. Anyways, so there she is. You can see her reaching out. You can see there's kind of this look about her. Where did I go from here? Okay. There's stuff in the trees. That's like there's entities in the trees. Here's another good example of a spirit. It's multiple spirits stacking up. And if you look, there's an eye right here. There's an eye right here. There's the top of his head. You can even see that there's the elbow and the hand. And his hand is like on top of this guy's head right here. All right. And there's the nose and there's the mouth. It's a spirit member. It's not a Bigfoot. It's not. It's a tree spirit. O.R.d. Thanks. O.R.d. Okay, cool. So it's both of them. So guys, thank you for being here. It doesn't mean a lot to me, actually. If I haven't demonstrated that, gratitude, thank you. Thank you for just spending time with me. You know, it takes a lot of time to present this, even in a cruddy way like I'm doing it. It takes a lot of time just to get the information to give to you, the images and etc. But anyways, back to MK Davis. MK Davis is having heart procedure on Thursday, so have your prayers with him. He's a great guy. That's the reason why we're not going to do a show this week. Although we did have a private conversation last night that was, if you would have heard it, you would have been shocked in your attitude and about the Patterson film would be, you would change quite a bit. By the way, something did really happen, and there was a lot more going on than they're talking about. A lot more things showed up outside of Patty, and shamanic rituals were going on throughout that time for a very long time in that area. And there was a social, cultural, political war going on between the state and the logging company in one place, and then the indigenous population there, and their rights, and they didn't want to have all the trees logged, and they didn't want all that highway going through there, right? And there was an immense, and people think that shamanic rituals aren't real, and it's just pretend, fantasy, or just make believe stuff, or it's just people drinking the Kool-Aid or whatever. Let me tell you something, it's real, and the spiritual realm is very real, and this is a huge part of this whole thing. And you can take as many guns as you want, but when you're dealing with this stuff, you can shoot at it all day long and nothing's going to happen to it. You're just going to waste a lot of lead and make yourself look really silly. And we're adults, and we should talk about this. By the way, there is more than just This guy going here, you can see right here, this is the nose, the mouth, the chin, the head, silhouette on the tree. And there's another thing right here. You can see two eyes, the mouth, and the head, like it's a baby Sasquatch or something, right? Baby Bigfoot. But is it? Is it? It's not. There's nothing that looks like what we were told a Bigfoot is and a Sasquatch looks like. But these are all over the place, and they're in every tree. Maybe we can start understanding, certain cultures, especially here, where the hand, once again, I think I got that wrong. Here's the one. He's actually holding his hands. I thought at first he was holding his hands on this guy's head. There's the fingers right there. There's the hand. So he's got his hands like he's holding a football, getting ready to run a play or to run in to get the extra 3 yards, right? It's third and 1 to go, right? These aren't Bigfoot. What are these things? We call them spirits generically. But what are these things? We have so many times when people hear things. Okay, pebbles are being thrown at you. You never saw the Bigfoot throw the pebble. What if these things are throwing the pebbles? What are these are things that throw in the branches? What if these are the things that are building these teepee structures and these lanes and all that look an awful lot like certain indigenous populations had during this time, but 200 years ago, 300 years ago in this area. Now I'm on the border of Michigan and Ohio. I'm 12 miles west of Lake Erie, just to give you an idea. I'm in a place where you're not supposed to have any big. In fact, if you look at the with this BFR or whatever, which means the big phony reports, whatever the hell it is, you'll see no reports in my area for miles. Yet people see Bigfoot in my area, and they see a lot more. And it's funny, you try to talk to people who are in the paranormal community, they don't want to talk to you. You talk to people in the UFO community, they don't want to talk to you. Talk to people in the Bigfoot community, they don't want to talk to you. Nobody wants to talk about this stuff. I know it's not comfortable, but we're adults. I mean, some of us have actually been in war and seen terrible things, right? Done some terrible things. We're adults. We should be able to handle this. Maybe we need to stop watching so much scary television and movies and start maybe living in our real world. And yeah, they're ghoulish. They're ghoulish looking. They probably are. Maybe they are evil. I don't know. Do you? I mean, does anybody know? I mean, that's the thing. And there's like nobody to talk to about it. And it's crazy that you have to go through all this stuff. If you're a serious researcher about Bigfoot, this is what it leads to. Now, here's another example of a spirits manifesting in a tree. And I don't know if you'll be able to see it. By the way, this is all on the 20th of February in a 20 to maybe 30-minute period of doing research. Like I said, I'm at the point now where I don't need to bother going too far to start seeing things, right? But right in here, you can see the eyes. You can even see the head and all that. He's actually got a buddy right here next to him too. But let's just, and I'm not going to mess with it. I just want you to see, I want to see if you can see what I see. Because they do mess with the trees. Like this. You see the two eyes right here? There's an eye right here. They're not leaves, by the way. And this is well, that's good about taking these images in the month of February. There's hardly any leaves on the trees, but that is not a leaf, and that's not a leaf, and it's not just pareidolia. They want to tell you it's pareidolia, but you can see the eyes popping out of this tree. You can see this dude manifesting. Can you see the big eyes? Can you see it? What if Sasquatch, or we call Bigfoot, they get their energy, they materialize. There's the reports of aliens and Bigfoot, and I got images of things that look just like aliens popping out of trees. What if they get a lot of their energy via the life force itself of the trees? Okay, let's talk about it this way, like it's some kind of, maybe it's not, let's try to take our religious mindset and our biases out. Let's say that they indwell or it's not necessarily possess the trees. By the way, this is what ancients did. This is what they did try to warn us about when they're in the groves and all that. This is what they try to get in of themselves, right? To become better and stronger warriors, and to receive these kind of blessings or gifts, right, from these entities, these spirits, right? You want to call them demons, you want to call them tree devils, you want to call them just tree spirits, you want to call them angels, you want to call them whatever the hell you want to call it, but they're there, and people used to actually try to get these things into them. They would do rituals and rites and submit themselves to these things. And I'm just telling you how it is. I'm not trying to judge. But they're in the trees. I wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't recommend it at all, but I know there's people out there trying to do it. Let's just see. Here's another example of a Bigfoot-ish looking thing popping out of a tree. You can see clearly its head. When I show this to you, you're going to go, oh yeah, there it is. And it's high up in a tree. There's no other body. It's just a head popping up. And the funny thing is, you go to any other show, everyone else, they're just talking the big talk and all that, and blowing smoke up each other's bums, and no one's doing this. Listen, some of us actually want to learn something. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's not to be entertained, but let's learn something. It's pointless to keep hearing about these scary stories and having the next guy that's selling a book and all that tell us, oh, a Bigfoot chased me down the path and threw stuff at me, and I was scared as hell. And I'm like, yeah, well, join the club. Now let's talk about what's really going on, because there's more. So here's the head. You can see the eye right here, You can see the nose. You can even see some of the teeth. Now I haven't tweaked this at all. And touch it. Ironically, you almost see fingers right here too. And many times you'll see a hand with this stuff too. So when you're looking at the trees and you're filming the trees, or you're out there, see, that's part of the problem too. Is my fellow Bigfoot researchers, they don't point the camera up. It's always looking down for a footprint. Well, if you look up, then you can find out what might be causing the footprints. But we don't do that. There's a few out there. Diesel does that. I see other guys starting to do it. But, they're up in the trees. They live off the trees. They live off the force of the trees. It's just always been that way for some time immemorial. Many of our ancestors, whether Native American or, listen, even those, come from, mixed, I'm mixed. So I got the European blood in me too. And the Europeans, what? Our elders all knew about it. They talked about the green man. They talked about the people in the trees. They talked about these spirits. They knew about it. They didn't just hide it. In fact, a lot of them interacted with it or developed some kind of peaceful, harmonious relationship with them. I think part of the problem is we are so disconnected at this point with the environment and the creation that the Creator gave us. We're all living in such a fake reality that we can't see anymore what's really going on. We can't see it. We've lost something a certain level of light spectrum, we used to be able to see these things. Our elders used to be able to see these things. They talked about it. Of course, the more time goes on, the memory was lost, and it's coming back. And we might be some of the people who are going to help usher it in. People are going to take this many different ways. Some people already are and are going to say, "Oh, I should worship these things." And some people are going to, freaked out and they think everything has to be spiritual warfare. And some people are going to say, "Well, oh, this has always been the case. Let's try to understand it, just like we try to understand the pride of lions in Africa, right? It's part of their creation." We can't talk about it though, because if you talk about it, you get called names, and people don't want to hear about it, and they think they need to belong to a club. I see a lot of cloak face. Yeah, sure you do. Hey, listen, Christy, that's why they create that. I would bet my left testicle. Not that you want it, but this is the extreme of how confident I am of, right? That the reason why they even designed the camera was so that we could see these things. Because you got to remember, people still to this day do interact with the spirits. Many of them are actually our leaders in Washington, D.C. and they're in London and the Vatican and the monarchies and throughout the whole world. They really do worship. They have spirit worship. They go in public. They're all, it's like Jesse Jackson calls himself a reverend. He's not even an ordained priest, reverend, or I don't think he even went to seminary school. I mean, there's Al Sharpton is another one of those guys. Reverend Al Sharpton. He's not reverend. He just made it all up. People don't even ask. People don't even ask the questions about something simple as that. I'm not knocking them personally as human beings, but I'm just listen. This part of the illusion that's been painted, that's been put over us, the scales before our eyes. The scales before our eyes are created by the people around us who are supposed to be our teachers and our leaders, and they are our teachers. They are our indoctrinators. They are the propagandists. They are the servants of the machine of this empire, and they don't tell us the truth. And you have to understand, you don't know, as just as I don't know much of the truth. But in order to get to that point again and being closer to reality, we have to pull away and we have to start asking our own questions. We have to start doing a little bit of our own homework. We have to start doing our own thing. I'd take to be preaching about it to the choir, but you guys know I'm right? You know that's how it is. And that guy, it's so obvious when you look at this. The closer you look at it, that's his thumb, and he's got his 4 fingers. 1, 2, 1. Move, buddy. 2, 3, 4. There's his head. That guy would probably qualify if you saw it and he popped in, he was in the ground and he was manifesting, right? And you saw him, you would say that was Bigfoot, or that was Grassman, or a booger, right? That would go. That would see where we're at here. I get going geez, then people don't stick around. So, I mean, I don't know why people don't listen. We're learning something here for real. We are learning something for real here. There's 2 things going on in this picture. We're learning something for real. It's not entertainment. It's for real. Next time you see a tree, you're never going to see it the exact same way. Now we'll understand why we should have a little bit more respect for the trees. Because there's more going on in those trees than meets the eye. There's things in those trees. Look at the whole crowd. If you got it, I'll put the link up again, and you don't have to do it. If it has to be, I'll do the best I can, just talking. But I'm not I would love to have some people join me and talk about this stuff. Let's talk about it. Anyways, I can't post comments to some destinations. What are you talking about? We'll just send it anyways. Okay. So, anyways, in this picture, we have two things going on. We have in one tree, we have a head popping out of a Sasquatch or a booger or a Bigfoot or something that at least looks out. And on the other side is a totem of spirits manifesting on a tree. Hey, Rachel J. Amber. Nice you joined. Now, for here we have the Bigfoot popping his head out on this tree. We can even see his thumb and his fingers, right? But on the other side, we have a totem creating of spirits. Fascinating to think this. Now, look at this, the two ways they're manifesting. One, it looks very physical, and one is almost like a shadow people. Dusty, how's it going? I haven't seen you in age or heard from you in ages. I hope you're doing well, Dusty. Many blessings to you, Dusty. Dusty's a great gal, and she's gone through a lot. She's still staying close to God, though. So anyway, so this is the Bigfoot right here, right? With his fingers. At least the head popping out. But on the other side here, if you pay attention, there is actually what we call a spirit totem manifesting on a tree. And there's several entities. But this is all part of what's going on in our reality. So we see right there, and we see right there. We even see right here, if you look real close, there's the manifestation of something that looks like a Bigfoot, right? But yet it has other entities. And so, some look a little bit alien and all that. But if you look closely, tell me if you guys can see it. Tell me if you guys can see what I'm seeing. Can you see the eye of this entity right here? It looks like a Bigfoot, and the nose and the mouth. And there it is. And can you see this entity right here? And can you see this one is very, you can see that. You see the head. There's another one right here. You want to know what how did the indigenous populations, North American, where did they get the idea of totems? Well, of course, first there's the trees, right? So that's logically. But on top of that, they saw things. Whether it was induced through drugs or through rituals and ceremonies, I believe that's really the bigger thing, these shamanic rituals. You're going to be so shocked. When you start paying attention, you'll realize, like even in this image, in the back, there's another right there manifest. And it has nothing to do with shadows coming from the branches. There are spiritual, ultra-dimensional entities that live in and around the trees. In fact, I would argue that they're around us too. And I wouldn't be surprised there's some that live in us. And when you do see a Bigfoot, count on something else to happen. Other things are going to show up. How do I know that? Personal experience. What's up, Steve West? How you going, Steve? Yeah, you can see it. There's no point for me to make it up. I'm going to get nothing out of this. Listen, nothing. There's not going to be no fanfare for me telling you this stuff. There's not going to be no big following and paychecks and all that for me telling you this stuff. I'm telling you stuff because I care. That's why. Not because I want to be the next big thing. I'll probably never even write a book. But I would want to understand. I want to understand the creation that I'm in. Hopefully you do as well. And I want to understand, God, if there's a way back to you, I want to understand how it really is. Thank you, Steve. Thank you for I didn't need that. Thank you for the compliments, man. So we have this going on here. There's multiple things going on in the trees. Ultimately, at the end of the day, first of all, there's different types of ultra-dimensional spiritual beings that live in the trees. There's certain things that manifest that look just like a Bigfoot. We hear over and over again, but we just dismiss these people and myself. We say, hey, listen, I saw them go through the tree. I saw them go into a tree. I saw them disappear into a tree. That's right, into a tree. And you go like, well, I don't believe that. And it's not about belief. It's no longer belief. I'm showing it to you. I'm showing to you what goes on. It's not belief. I can't fake any of this stuff. None of this can possibly even become close to CGI. I don't even know how to do it. Another example of what's going on here. There it's the head. There's spirits on this side. You see the head. This is high up in the tree. They're high up in the tree. And this is thing that drives me nuts. I understand why guys do it, and I understand that because of how we are and we're designed. We're designed to look down, look at the ground so we don't trip over stuff and all that. And guess what? It's very convenient for these things, isn't it? If we're always looking down and worrying about where our next step is or where the log is, or where, if we're going to trip over a rock or a hole, or, you know what I mean? That's how we're designed. We're designed to look forward and down the ground. We hardly ever look up. And that's where they're at. Really, I can't make this up. I have no way to fake it. You got to start looking up if you're serious about doing research with this is. Hair up. Now we go back to see why the Native Americans, certain cultures at least, can't blankly say that it's all Native Americans, because by the way, there were thousands of different cultural groups and identities in North America when we decided to, take it all over, right? They did, and there were groups of people that were as white as white, and there's people as black, and there's people of all different colors. So look, Arab, we took them out. Not we, they did. The people of the past that came out of Western Europe, they were subservient to the Vatican and the monarchies, came here and proceeded to annihilate anybody that would not go along with their system. That's what happened. And if you believe that some imaginary bug killed them all, then you don't understand warfare. And you don't understand one of the first things to do in warfare is you poison the environment. You poison the water. You poison the people. You sicken them and weaken them. And when you do that, guess what? It's really easy for a handful of guys to go in and kill everybody in that friggin' community if they're all sick. Now you might understand what's going on to us right now. By the way, it's not coming the way that mainstream media says, because remember, they don't serve us. They serve their masters. Interesting thing about this whole thing, if you pay attention to the booger popping out of the tree, is he has a hand right here and he has an elbow right here. You see the elbow? That's my neighbor's yard. This is a location where I film stuff all the time. Just film things that look like Bigfoot. I film things that look like aliens. I film things that look like human beings. And they all come out of this area. And people say there's a portal. Okay, it's a portal. But listen, I film it all over the place. I'm arguing that trees themselves can act as portals. But we ain't going to talk about that because, if we start telling the people the truth of what's going on, people might start talking to trees again. People might actually, gosh, imagine if everyone realized that there are multiple ultra-dimensional, interdimensional spiritual beings and things that live in the trees and manifest in the trees, and orbs live in the trees and all that. And people might get upset about what we're doing to the trees, and Lord knows then we're really going to have problems with the Rockefellers and everybody else that are making all this money wiping out the forests. So we can't let people know. What's funny about this one too, it's like you can even say that his elbow, but then his elbow turns into another face. You see the nose, right? The eyes and the mouth. So it's more than just an elbow. You can see this the elbow. And this how only way this can be is that we're dealing with spiritual beings. And somehow they morph in and out and work together and they kind of manifest. Just think of a bucket of maggots. I think it's not the greatest way to, but you know what I'm saying. That's what's going on here. Let's see. It's everybody's government, by the way. There is no such thing as. First of all, we don't have a government. Unless government means mind control, the governing of the mind, right? Their job is to govern the general populace, us, the slave class, right? To where to think and where to go and what to do. Now, hopefully, through this process of our learning and continual learning, we realize we don't want to be their slave and we don't believe in anything that they say anymore because it's not advantageous for our own personal growth. But what does that mean? Hey, Rachel, you want to come on or oh God. Ember, do you want to come on and talk about it? The piezoelectric field. Well, that's an interesting one to look into. Yeah, I think that's definitely they use it. They have to use some kind of EMF, some kind of energy force. That's the reason you hear all. I don't know if there's a reason why, but you hear all the time of things like Bigfoot and stuff manifesting around nuclear power plants or power lines or power stations and stuff like that because high energy concentration of electromagnetism and I wouldn't be surprised with Wi-Fi and everything else going on and with that thing that starts with a 5 and then has that letter behind it you're not allowed to talk about that's all over the place now. I wouldn't be surprised if this becomes even more and more relevant. More and more people are going to see this. I would not be surprised at all. Let's see. Cluster together to create. I think it's 100%. You're right, Christy. That's what they do. How many times have I seen something that looked like a Bigfoot until you really research it and look into it and deep in the image? You realize, oh my gosh, it's like made up of multiple entities trying to fool the observer, right? Behaving like trickster spirits, if you will, as Native Americans call it. And you know what? Oh, Rachel, you don't need to have any followers. Rachel, nobody needs. If anybody's worried, all I have to do is just I'll send the link again. You can come in. Nobody needs any followers on YouTube. This is not. If you're following me on YouTube or on Facebook, this is not TikTok. You can have 0 followers and join me. This has 0 to do with how many followers you have. All you have to do is just follow the link. It's in Yards stream, or StreamYard, excuse me. So my aunt could join me if she wanted to. My brother in California, if he wanted to join me. If somebody is in Timbuktu wants to join me. In fact, anybody can join me with that link. Anybody. Okay. That's fair enough. I understand. I mean, I understand the gig. You know what I mean? I understand completely. I have no. I don't have any issue with anybody not wanting to come on. I understand. You know what I mean? It's like, what do I say? You know what I mean? What can I say? You know what I mean? What? You know what I mean? It's like. I mean, shoot, if I'm struggling. Anyways, no problems, no issue with me at all. But I do want to point out something about when it comes to these chateau entities or manifestations. There's another one right here. It's not as prominent as that one. Why is this important? It's not, first of all, we better mature and get used to this all day because I think it's going to be happening more and more as we tweak with the EMF fields and the electromagnetic fields around us. I just have a very confident that it's going to be something that our children are going to see, that the people that we love about and love, and we have to say, listen, that Bigfoot thing that you're seeing, don't worry about it. It's a spirit. It's not going to do anything to you. It can't do anything to you unless you let it. These trickster spirits, they might throw a rock at you and they might throw pebbles at you to scare you and all that kind of stuff and tease you or get you out of an area because, but you know what? In the end of the day, now how do we prepare ourselves for that? I think it's getting closer to the Lord and to our Heavenly Father. Getting closer, more importantly, to Heavenly Father, right? The Lord of all spirits. And here's another example of and then I'm going to take a little break. You guys want to stick around. There's more images. See, there's some really, listen, I filmed something, an entity popping out of a tree that has a orb in his hands. Now, we were told that orbs live in the trees from the orb whisperer. And to say that the orbs don't have any connection with Bigfoot is, at this point, it's just ridiculous. And you have these guys that are still playing the game, and they're like playing like a broken record. Well, we don't really know, and nobody's an expert, and none of this is going to do anybody any good. And hearing another damn scary story ain't going to do anybody any good. Look, they're around everywhere, and you might as well, we all might as well embrace it, accept it, what's always been there, like our ancestors did, and deal with it like big boys and girls, right? And it's not about taking a gun and shooting the hell out of a tree. It's not going to, or chopping that tree down. It's not going to fix it either, right? So what do we do about this? I need to shave my legs first. Man, you know what? That's my luck. That's when I was in the dating. Man, how many times I hear excuses like that? Anyways, yeah, and I don't even, I don't blame anybody for that. I don't blame a single person to not want to spend any time with me. I understand. I have a hard time myself. Now, listen, this is a fascinating image, and I want you to, if anybody's paid attention to being with me this whole time, can you see the different types of manifestations in the tree? Because it's not just the one guy that's looking at us. There's shadow silhouettes sticking out of the tree as well. There's actually even a hand sticking out. Yeah, well, yeah, Well, I mean, I'm totally convinced that these people that do like energy workers and people that do this kind of healing and the spiritual healing, they're using this stuff of one form or another, right? These entities, people just like, it's just like this amorphous, this thing they call the spirit. Well, the truth of the matter is, these are our spirits. Right? They're spirits. One of which looks like similar to the thing I saw in the tree once during a. Oh yeah, really, Rachel or Ember, really. Interesting. And imagine you saw a lot of orbs, didn't you? Or things that look like UFOs, lights in the sky. And we started earlier. If anybody missed this, I recommend you go back to the very beginning. It's worth watching more than once. I show how the tree itself is emitting energy off it. and you can see the red coming off the tree. It's not buds in the tree. I live in Northwest Ohio on the border of Michigan. Trees don't start budding until really March. So we got another month before that even happens. I filmed this on the 20th of February. And I didn't spend a lot of time filming this stuff because I know how easy it is to film these things now. And I know they're all around. And you know what the secret is in filming these things? I give you a little secret. Call upon the Lord of all spirits, Heavenly Father, with a passion and conviction. Verbally out loud. Praise him and ask him how his day was. I ain't talking anything for religion here. I don't care what religion you are. You call upon the name of the Lord of all spirits and ask him to reveal things. And he's going to reveal things. And you're not going to have to put too much energy to do it. I guarantee you to see it. And I don't put a lot of energy in it. I spend a lot more energy studying and researching. And lately I've been, I've put a lot of time in this. I'll scroll back. Yeah, you do that. Watch it again. I'm telling you, there's images to see. You're going to see people. You're going to see silhouettes of people. You're going to see women. You're going to see clearly women manifesting out of the trees. Oh, yes. I saw orbs that were trying to look like lightning bugs, I'm sure, and light body UFOs. And there were people being touched and chairs. Yeah, sure they do that. Of course, yeah. And then the thing is, but the funny thing about it is, I don't think it's right. Diesel, how's it going, man? So you missed a lot. I hope you go back because there was a lot of great images. A lot of great images. So anyways, in this image here, there's a lot of things to learn here. A lot of information in this. And I'm going to share it with you. And hopefully you'll be able to see it. What you got to say here, we're under a big solar storm now. Good time for research, depending on your look. It could be. I think there's probably, there's the vortex, the electromagnetic field that's around us, right? And definitely the sun has a relationship, Let's see. And here's another thing. When was that? I think it was last week as well. We had the first thunderstorm. This is something to think about. This is what I think about. I had a thunderstorm, and it's the first time in months that we had a thunderstorm here, right? What do thunderstorms do? Lightning, right? And what does lightning do? It charges the ground, right? It charges, it re-energizes the region in a way, right? So anyways, let's look at this. So there probably is a connection with that. But I want to show you something because you guys, there are multiple things here. But you got to look. And if you don't look, you'll miss it. So this is the portrait of a Bigfoot. And you see, here's his, see, there's his, whatever that bulgy thing above his head, right? This is his head. His crown. It goes poof. It's right in the tree, so it's just popping out. You can see his nose. You can see his eyes. His eye in particular, right? You can see his mouth. And he's popping out. Now he's looking at his buddy right here. It looks more like a dog man type thing, right? And the dog man thing, he's got an eye right here. He's got an eye right here. This is the top of his head. You can see, oh, that's somebody's hand right there. You can see there's a hand. Actually, that's our fingers on the other side. You see there, that's his shoulders. This is his muzzle. Tell me if you can see it. It's got like a dog or a lion-like muzzle. There's his mouth. There's his chin. So he's looking right at me. This guy is looking at me too, but he's peeking out. He's peeking out of the tree. He's paying attention to me. He's paying attention to me. He's thinking to me. They popping their heads up. Why are they popping their heads up? They say, well, hey, well, there's Mike. I haven't seen him in a while. He's always inside. Yeah, it looks like that. Like a lion person next to a Bigfoot. Okay, then you got the shadow people. And here's a shadow person right here. There's a shadow person right here. You can see his nose. You can see his mouth and his chin. You ain't learning this in the other channels, are you? And by the way, it doesn't mean that like somebody was an old mentor of me says, Mike, it's not that you're so great. It's just that nobody else cares. So all you have to do is put a little bit of effort in the right place, right? Now we should be actually doing stuff that edifies each other. That simply just entertains each other. So we can have the numbers. So I can have a whole bunch of likes, or I can have a bunch of subs. So I can feed my freaking ego. Who cares about my ego, and who cares how many numbers I have? What matters is that we learn the truth. And we go forward with it. And we adapt to it. And we mature with it. But you have to look at what I'm looking at first, I guess. I don't know. Maybe you don't. I'm hoping that I'm doing some good. But listen, there are multiple entities here. Now, what's fascinating is this translucent one right here. You can see his eye right here, his nose. This is his head, his chin. There's his like his mouth. He's looking between the trees. You got this guy that he's popping his head out, looking like something from the Planet of the Apes. Then you got Lion Man looking. Then you got this guy's profile right here. There's a couple of them there, but you definitely see this guy right here. You cannot even, if you look close, you can even see the eyes. You see the nose, the mouth, right? Over here, believe it or not, this is a hand. Oops. That's another head manifesting. Welcome to Bigfoot 202. You know, you can stay in Bigfoot 101 if you want. I understand that you people like him, but I understand he's still a gatekeeper. I hate to say that. He's still once in the FBI, always in the FBI. And that's the reason why they're not going to go to this. We are learning more right now in the past hour, 2 hours, than you can learn and listen to all day long to all these other people. And they're, well, I went through this, and they act like they're just experts and all that. I said, well, first of all, I'm not going to tell you I'm an expert. I'm telling you what I'm finding, what I'm seeing, and let's work together so we can figure out what's really going on. Because what is happening here? These are my neighbors' yards. There is truly no separation between us and the Creator. I don't think so, or the creation, or these things. Or in some ways, it's like the Native Americans said, it's like a spider web, right? And everything, you touch one area of like one part of the spider web, and the whole spider web shakes, right? And so everything is connected. We're connected. We might never meet each other. And you know what? In real life, if we met each other, you might not even like me, or vice versa. Regardless of all that, we are still all connected, including with these things. What are these things? Now, it's easy, and I, for a long time, said they're all just demons. What are they? How do I know that? I've had terrible experiences with them, just for sure. But which ones did I have terrible experience with? Which are these? I asked God to reveal these things to me, and I asked him to send his angels to protect me outside. Is there a possibility that his angels don't look anything like what you see at the Vatican and everyone else tells us what angels look like? What if angels do look like lions and look like Bigfoot and look like shadow people? And you know what? They were never told that. We were never told that. Yeah. Post it. You put it up there and let me know. Message me. By the way, my email is in the information box. You find my email and about box and the YouTube channel. And please email me your stuff. Email you any comments. Come on, let's do a show together, Amber. Let's do another one. Share us your images. So, by the way, every image that I've shared so far in the past almost 2 hours, all were filmed within a 3-minute period. No, well, that's not true. Let's see. Yeah, well, altogether, I only spent like 20, 25 minutes that day on 20th filming. But these are all in my backyard, and I didn't spend more than, I just, oh, that looks like a good place to take a picture. Oh, that looks like a good place to picture. I know where to go, you know what I mean? Just look up in the trees, right? Just put your camera towards the trees and start taking pictures, right? And depending, I mean, I guess some people, sometimes I wonder if this is a blessing or a gift. I mean, a curse. Is this a gift or is this a curse? I honestly think it's a bit of both. To me, it's a wonderful blessing to know that these things actually exist. To know that I have this much more of a level of understanding of the Creator's creation. And are these really my enemies? But as far as I can tell, they're not the ones on the television lying to me. They're not the ones that lied to me my whole life in church and in public fool system and all these booksellers. And they didn't lie to me. It was human beings that lied to me. Human beings that lied to me. So how the hell, that's what I think, Christy. I think the truth is we live in a dualistic system, right? Right? And some are good and some are bad. Just like human beings. Some are destined, as hard as it believe, that's what they were created to do evil. Some of us are meant to do good, and some of us are meant to share certain knowledge and experience. And, we're all just a small part of something that's much bigger than ourselves. We call it God and Heavenly Father and all that. You know what's fascinating about this image too? If you pay attention really close to it's that got the totem thing going on again. And so not only you got the big guy right here, right? It's his portrait and his mouth, but you got a little guy right on top of him. It's either that he's got a big wrinkle on his forehead, but you could definitely get. Now look at this guy. Now think about what I'm going to share with you. It's like something out of a cartoon. You see that? He's got the pointed ears like a dog, man. You see the pointed ears like a dog or a bat? He got pointed ears. Let's look at it. So we film like a Batman. There's another guy next to him. It's like watching. I got it. This sounds crazy, right? But what if our ancestors? This is form of their entertainment, like watching the stars at night. But maybe they actually doing what we're doing now. They stared at the trees and these things manifest, and he just watched them fart around. And it's like the book where the wild things are, right? Or the Lorlac. Then maybe they were trying to tell us something, and we were just oh, this is just stupid kid stuff, right? This is childish. Why would anybody ever listen to stuff that doesn't mean anything? None of that makes any sense. But what if it does make sense? And what if it did make sense? And what if that kid that's and where the wild things are? What if that kid running around in his pajamas at night, that's what they were telling? Is something that actually really does go on in the woods, but we in our brainwashing. And our indoctrination, we're like, oh, it's just childishness. It's just silliness. But maybe they were actually, whoever the author was, can't remember where the wild things were. Maybe they were telling us a deeper truth, and it happens all the time in all cultures. What they do, they hide it in moral tales, in children's fables and fairy tales. It's a form of speaking out in a parallel or not parallel, like in parallels. Not idioms. Just left me. It's like the Bible. If you read it properly in the first level, what happens in growth, you take it very physical, very literal, but as far as the physical side of things, history, and then slowly, if you develop a greater understanding with your own understanding of the world around you, and you start realizing you're dealing with not just parables. I can't even think of the name of it is. Anyways, it's there's deeper meaning within the stories, and the only way you can understand the stories if you have the personal experience. Once you have the personal experience, right, then you have new meaning of what that story is, right? But when you're young, you're just reading it as just about the names of characters and about the location and that they had a war and all that. But usually there's deeper spiritual meanings, and the word that for some reason blocked me. Maybe it's going to take a break. Parables, yes, that's part of it, yeah. But that's what we're dealing with, right? I argue that when you think of the Lorlac from whatever what was the name of that book with the Lorlac, anyways? You guys remember that Dr. Seuss book? What was the name of it? Well, I guess it was just called the Lorlac, right? And he was like the keeper and a hanger out in the woods, trees. In fact, he lived in a tree, didn't he? And then we think where the wild things are. I argue that they are telling this all along. They're telling us, and only those who are mature enough to even know the truth were hearing it. The rest just thought it was just some silly children's story. In fact, when I say that, I'm talking about myself too. Thank you, Christy. Yeah, I thought it was just a stupid children's story too, where the wild things are. I did. Now I know it was no child story. We in our you see, it's like a test to see how it was a test to see how far culturally people were indoctrinated in this new modern enslavement of the mind. But it turns out we can break free, every single one of us, if we're honest and we're willing to look into things that are very uncomfortable that will make us grow up. And one of the most uncomfortable things is to come to terms with that these things live in the trees. They come out of the trees. They use the energy and life force of the trees. I will be back. Give me 5 minutes. It's been 2 hours. I could use a break. But in the meantime, I want you to look carefully at this image. Now remember, these things are transparent. And the only reason we can see it is because the camera was designed to film these things in the first place. And I want you to look at these things that are popping out of the tree. And I don't want you to be afraid, get all freaked out about it. If you are, I just ask yourself, because I went through it myself, you step back and say, we really don't know what we're dealing with here. God's on my side, right? Put the full armor of God if that's what you need. And just look at God's creation for what it is. And just accept it. I want you to seriously look at this, because there's multiple heads manifesting out of the trees. Please stick around, because there's a hell of a lot more to go. And I know these are long teachings, and it's a lot to put on people. And then there's me on top of it, right? And it's like, but stick around, please. Any of you, I am going to take a little break. Everyone take a little break. I'll play a video in the meantime, and then while I go to break, and then it'll be a couple minutes as well. Silence. Let's see, which one should we do? They wouldn't let me do. They won't let me play anything more than a very short one. So Yeah, the closing one. I don't want to do that one. And we played that one, right? Let's see. you see the guys? Can you see them? Can you see the entities? Can you see the heads popping out of the tree? Kind of look like a Bigfoot, don't they? Can you see them? Let's see. Transformers. Transformers. Diesel. You're still there, Diesel? Thank you for sticking out. Christy, if you're still there, thank you for sticking out. They certainly do. Let's see. That's really looks like spirits right there. Yeah. That's what they are. Gotta run. Okay, Christy. Sorry about that. Hope you stick around. I mean, I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I know we are beyond Bigfoot 101, aren't we? Those of us who are still here, we're beyond it. We're beyond all the scary stories. We're beyond all the judgmentalness. We're beyond all the phantom. We're beyond all that. Good night, Christy, if you're still there. We're beyond all that. To give you a little help, there's a big guy right here, right? You see his eye, he's right here, and his nose, and his mouth, and his chin. There's a little guy right here. You see them all massing up together? There's a guy right here. You can see that. And he's a little bit bald or something. You got an eye right there, an eye right there. You got a guy manifesting right here. An eye right there, and right there. You got a little guy right here manifesting, believe it or not. They're all coming out of the trees. What do you guys think? Should we all be dead frightened and scared about all this? Or do we grow up? How's come nobody else is talking like this? How's come no one else is sharing images? Well, there's ours. There's people out there. There's a lot of you guys. They're in your own way sharing your own bit of the puzzle. And many of you are actually showing images. But for the most part, the majority aren't. Yeah, I agree with you. You kind of just grow up a little bit. You just go, this is how it is. I mean, I didn't make this happen. This, by the way, this is not in my neighbor's yard. This is across. This is where that teepee or structure was. The teepee structure. So this is over by the railroad tracks, over by my dentist office. Yeah. You know, it's funny, if you have to have a halfway decent camera, you don't even have to even mess with the pictures that much. I mean, there it is. There's a big guy right here. There's a big guy right here. His head popping out, and the bigger guy right here. The smaller guy right here. Yeah, and it looks, I mean, to the world, it looks like a freak show. Right? Yeah, there's a giant, obviously, spirit right in the center. Yeah, popping out a tree. Popping out a tree. Well, no one else, you go to all these other channels and everyone else, and are they sharing this stuff? I mean, there's people, we all know people who are, well, I don't know if you all know people or not, who are sharing this stuff. Let's see what we got here. I don't even know. I just took this picture, and I just don't even know what. I don't know if there's anything in here or not. Seems to be a bit of an orb showing up here. It's not as powerful as that last one, is it? Well, they're definitely having to. There's something going on right here, huh? It's kind of manifesting. There's this orbish looking thing in the middle of the day, and it's not from the sun. And it's right there. Let's see what the next one is. This might be interesting. Some of these I haven't even really looked at. Seems to be a guy right here in the middle. He's not manifesting too much, as much as the other ones, but he's manifesting. But notice they're paying attention. They're looking at us. They're always looking at us. So here's something to think about. I can't seem to move that. Okay, whatever that is. There's something to think about. When you go out in the woods and you go outside to your car and you go grocery shopping and you go to this place and that place, guess what's watching you all the time? Is that an ET in the mail? You want to? I have the most amazing image of an ET. See if I can get it. Y'all seen it. I'll share it again because it is one of the best images I've seen, and popping on damn tree. And it's like, oh my God, the world's like that. I mean, be honest with you, that's what I was doing too. I was, oh my gosh, I can't believe what I'm seeing. But it is what it is, and to me, it's like thinking this way. Let's think of it this way instead of, it's like something we got to manipulate, or it's something that we got to try to make a buck off, or it's. How about we do this? How about we accept it like we accept everything else? How about if we accept it as like the butterflies flying in your garden, the birds flying in the air, the I don't know, the squirrels running around in the trees. Squirrels live with these things in the trees, ironically. They're still alive. Do you hear what I'm saying? What I'm saying is, yeah, these things are scary. I don't think where it's like there's a potential harm here. There is potential harm here. Just like there's potential harm if you play around with a lion. It's a good chance you could get bit. You don't have to play around with these things. But I think it's a good idea to know these things are real. Now, if you decide to play with these things, then, understand you're causing problems for yourself. You potentially causing problems yourselves. I know some people, they say that they're friends with these things, right? If they're friends of these things, why don't they tell us the way they really look? Why do they always assume that they're dealing with a Bigfoot? What makes them think that they're dealing with a Bigfoot? My point in this is that not everything that people are interacting with are not necessarily Bigfoot. And Bigfoot is just as amazing as it is not the end all be all of what's going on in there woods. And apparently there's possibility there's some things are even more amazing than Sasquatch, which is a bizarre thing to say. And I'm not, those who are closely connected to Bigfoot and are, bond with it and are just, it's a very big part of their lives. I'm not passing judgment or saying one thing or the other. What I am saying, though, let's just be honest about what's really going on here. There's a lot of things going on here. And they're not just Bigfoot. Where did I actually that image? Maybe I'm not supposed to share it. No. Okay, where are you, dude? While you're looking at that thing. Maybe it goes on the next image here. This is a fascinating image. Let's look at this guy. There's one right here. You can see his side of his they call a peeper, right? So you look at that while I'm looking for this alien. It's popping out a tree, by the way. Okay, there he is. And there's a baby one too, by the way. There's something that looks just like a baby. So you can see this guy, right? You see this big eye there and the big eye. Here's his nose. There's his mouth, his chin. Big guy just popping out, just popping out a tree. And you know, there's people out there that say that they've done DNA testing of these things, the quote unquote big aliens, and they said they have a lot of plant in them. You're right, War Crime. How's it going? WC7, how are you doing? Thank you for joining us. So you see that? I mean, that's something I filled in my neighbor's yard, popping out of a tree. And it looks very alien-like, right? Let's see. So you see there's the roof, and there's the side, and there's the tree. This guy, he's a strange one. He reminds me of something like the Green Man or the Man of the Forest right there. The Green Man. He's a very interesting entity. You know, I need to light it up. So there's that alien, right? There it is. Just tucked right in there. Hey, alien, how you doing? How many images? How many shows are going to show you that? So here we got this, the alien-looking guy right there. There's this Mr. Green Man. You see the mouth and the nose, the eyes, the eyebrow, and all that. And then you got a little baby one popping out of the tree. I filmed in May. Yeah, because they're part of it. That's where they live. That's where they generate. That's where they come out of. They live in the trees. Right? All right, Ember, they live in the trees. They don't have this where they come from? Where do they come from? You know where they come from? I'm not saying, you know, you're wrong. I'm just asking the question. Do you know where they come from? Because I don't know where they come from. I'm not going to claim that I do. I have an idea. My idea is that they always are here. They always live here. They're just part of the lower. This I think the Indian cosmology is probably the most accurate. There is an underworld, a middle world, and an upper world, and then there's the stars above it, right? The heavens, the pleroma, and then we're stuck here in the middle, stuck in the middle again, right? And so are they. They're and they are part of it. All three of those realms. And how do they navigate from to the underworld, to the middle world, and to the upper world? Is through the trees. The roots are in the underworld, are they not? Do they not go all the way to these big trees? The root systems are massive, and they go all the way to the water table. And then the branches and everything. So this guy, you have to pay attention to this because this is fascinating how they blend into things. And that is this guy. He's popping. He's hiding behind the tree here, right? But you can see his hand. I filmed this on Monday. I filmed all this stuff on a Monday or Thursday the last week. So there's him. There's actually two of them. There's one under him. But this is his nose, his mouth. This is his muzzle. This is where his eye is. and his eyebrow, there's his head. And you see how it's blending into the tree? So you can barely hear it. But he has fingers showing it too. And there's a finger right here. There's a finger right here. There's a finger right here. And there's a finger right there. You can see his hand. I know. Just showing his hand. Show your hand, buddy. Show your hand. Can you guys see his hand? Can you tell me if you can see his hand? Oh, it's for okay. So there are spirits, I believe. In fact, I know. I film them. I can show you once again. When I filmed this entity back in 2008, I think 19 or 18, in the planet Mars from my front yard. I'm not making this up. You can do this too. And also, it tells you a couple of things. One thing is that the supposed planets and the stars are a lot closer than they told us. Secondly, that they're not the same thing that they told us, not balls of energy. So this one, and this looks definitely like one of those draconian type ETs type things, right? I filmed this. I call it higher spirit, and you can see I filmed this in Mars from a P900. That means you can do it too. When I filmed this, I broke down and I cried like a baby. Why? Because this was revealed to me that the planets and the stars are not what they told us. They're a lot closer, and it's full of these entities in it. Now let's look at this one. You see, it's got almost like this leaf-like crown right there, right, going around him. But you can see his big brows. You can see his eyes, sunken eyes. You can see his nose. He even has fangs. He's got this thing going on here, like long hair, and he's got the conical shapes like what they try to tell us are Nephilim. I'm going to tell you right now, all these people are talking about Nephilim and this, that, and the other. They don't know jack squat what they're talking about. They write whole books about it on a verse in the Bible or two, and they take everything out of context. Honestly, everything. It's not just me saying that. All you have to do is read it for yourself, and you'll find out that that's the case. All these things cannot be the Nephilim. This is part of God's creation. This is what we're going to see on the other side, by the way. There's going to be some of us that are going to be standing side by side with these things. I mean, can you guys see what I see? Now, I know it's fuzzy and it's blurry, but remember, it was in the planet Mars that I filmed. And if you don't believe me, I'll bet you everything in my last pair of shoes that I filmed that in Mars. And guess what? You know how many people are going to see this video? You know how many people are even going to be even cued in to even, and I think a lot of it is spiritual, and I'm talking to people that do not in any way belong into what used to be my religious belief. I still believe in God. I still believe in Jesus. But many of these people I'm discovering are more spiritual, are more connected with God and his creation than all the Christians combined together. It's ridiculous. And here's the thing. 3 people? Now, I'm not saying I deserve any more than that, because that's not what the issue is. Because I don't. It's not even about that. It's just the ego raging, right? The thing is, it seems like only those people who are really prepared for the truth come to a channel like mine. They're willing to look honestly at reality. Let's see. I am seeing it now. It's really as long as you As you have reached one person, you've reached hundreds. Thank you. Thank you for the encouragement. What else can you do? I think a lot of times I'm just preaching to the choir. Those of us already know there's something going on. Maybe that's what we need to do. Maybe we do need to be reassured that we're not crazy and that we're not alone. And that, when the rest of the world who truly is under a strong delusion, they are the ones, by the way, and they accuse everyone else, but they're the ones who are, because they can't see this stuff. They don't want to see this. They don't know if they're capable of seeing this stuff. So back to this guy. I think this is fascinating. He's looking at me. He's peeping around a tree. He's looking at me. They are. What's up, man? Jared, if you're smart, you come back and listen to this, because there's a lot of teaching here. A lot of teaching. You missed. Ask them who's here what's been like the past 2 hours and what we've seen. So let's back to this dude. So this guy, he's peeping around this tree. He's high up in the tree, right? Let's see. So this is, well, look over here. He's high up in the tree. You see there's a little X structure right there. He is about maybe 20 feet up in the tree, okay? And you'll be shocked, but this, from here all the way up, is him behind the tree, popping out of the tree, by the way. Ironically, he has his hands right. I think that's just wonderful. And what's wonderful is you can see his paws, his hands. It's undeniable. That's his hands. And then there's his eye. There's his head. There's his nose and his mouth. Right? And he goes down here. And then you got this going on here. And it's his other hand. You see that? It's hard to see. Remember, they blend into the trees. They absorb the lights of the trees. They are part of the tree. Right? So you have to start thinking like the tree and them. Stop thinking like a human being. Stop thinking what everyone's telling you. And start thinking like them. And then they will start to be seen better. Now, this guy is interesting because he has claws. Is this a dog man? I don't know. Who knows? But this is one of his claws. There's 2. There's 3. There's 4. And there's his fingers. You can even see that, right? And it goes like that. Then it goes like this to his wrist. And it goes up his body. It goes all the way up. There's his neck. And there's the side of his face. All right? Now, I could tweak the color and all that, but this is the natural color. And why should we change it when this is what's really going on? So there's his head, and there's his other hand with his fingers. So he's blending in perfectly with the tree. And here's a couple questions. If it's flesh and blood, like they try to say, okay, how does it blend in perfectly like a chameleon or an octopus into that tree and have the same gray texture as the tree? I understand law 1. So there, and by the way, hey, Jared, this is all the stuff that I filmed last week on that Monday when I had that. I had the most bizarre. I should tell you about this. So Monday, I'm supposed to go to the dentist, right? And I show up at the dentist, but I showed up late. While I'm showing up to the dentist, I'm looking out, behind me where the railroad tracks are, that are between me and this line of woods and the dentist's office. And there's a damn TV structure being formed. I get there and I'm 10 minutes late. And everybody knows what it's like to go to a dentist or a doctor's appointment. You're 10 minutes late, they're going to still take you. They're going to take you if you're half an hour late. They don't want to take me. It's 10 minutes late. And I'm like, okay. They rescheduled it. And I'm thinking to myself, well, I must be supposed to do something else today. That's how I see things. And so I like looking at TP structure and I say, well, you know what? I'm going to go back home and I'm going to get my camera. And I come back and film around this area along railroad tracks where this TP structure is. And then, lo and behold, one of the best days of me filming, period. Um, of entities that I ever filmed. And then Thursday happened the same way. And a total of the Thursday, what happened is even more fascinating. I told Jared about this. Let me tell you about this. This is how bizarre this whole situation is. And I truly believe that some way, somehow, they wanted me to see them. So remember, this is his hand with his claws. This is our hand, and that. But I think they were also protecting me from something that's going on in that hospital with my doctors, because it was 2 doctor's appointments. And then the second one, of all things, I get out of my car, and I knew my tire was low because my son told me about it in the weekend, but I didn't realize what the big deal was. And so I get to my car, and I have to go to the other side of town with my car, and thank goodness they got rescheduled to an appointment that's in my side of town, right? Something close to me. Because God knows what could happen. My car ended up being in an accident and all that because it was, rush hour and the highway and had to take it. And who knows what the hell would happen. I do believe in some way they saved my life somehow. Don't know how that is, but they probably did. They prevented me from getting something worse. This is what they did. And there's no other way to explain this. 2 of my hubcaps had been rotated and put over the air valves, which is a physically impossibility outside of a human being or something would have hands to do that, or some kind of a power, right? That nature. And they are rotated out over my air, the pins, and there was have a slow leak of air. So by the time I got to the tire man shop, because man, I can't go to all the way to doctors with this low of tires, man. If I go over a pothole or something, I'm going to be screwed. It might cause a major accident. So I get to the tire man's office, and he's like, yeah. And the guy that's putting air, he says, your hubcaps are over there. The 2 of your tires, the hubcaps is over the air valve stem, right? He said, that's the reason why you got such low air. And I'm like, well, how the hell did that happen? And he goes, well, I guess we must have done it here. And I'm thinking to myself, I know the guy that actually did that. It doesn't take a genius to put hubcaps back on, especially if you're at a tire shop. I don't care how unless the guy just wanted to be a prick or something. That's always that possibility. I don't think so. This happened, by the way, about 2, 3. It was it December or November when I had because I had to go because I had a slow leak and I had my tires rotated. Anyways, because of all that, I missed my doctor's appointment. So what did I do? Well, I took a few more pictures just in my backyard, in which I not only filmed Bigfoot sticking out of the tree, I filmed people sticking out of the tree, people's silhouettes sticking out of the trees. So you say, well, here's just an example of tree line, right? If you just take some images of these tree lines and you focus it in, you're going to find some amazing things. Like this. You guys saw this earlier, right? He didn't. So you have 2 of these guys popping out. 2 big suckers. There's the big guy popping out of the tree and this other buddy popping out of the tree. Ethereal. What's up, brother?
What up, man?
What's up, brother?
What up, man?
What's up, brother?
What up, man? Let me turn that down.
You got a crazy echo.
Yeah, I turned that off. What's going on, man?
We're having Bigfoot 202. You know how the one guy, he has a Bigfoot 101 there? We're at
yeah.
We're at Bigfoot 202 here. So we're showing, I'm demonstrating how these spirits, these entities, including Bigfoot, live in the trees and come out. As you can see here, right before your eyes. Can you see those? Can you see 2 heads popping out of that tree?
Oh yeah, definitely see one right there.
So there's a guy right here, and there's another guy right here. Actually, there's a little guy right here too.
Massive. Man, there's always so much going on, man.
I think the point, it's very important, my friend or my brother, is to let people know the truth. It's not just to, let me hold on a second. Give me a second here and fix my background, which means I have to adjust my green screen.
Yeah, I just finished watching one of my vids there that just came out. So crazy, dude. You're gonna lose your shit when you see it.
Well, I know you're filming stuff there, and it's an amazing, magical place here. The amount of moss and ferns, and you guys still even have green foliage. Wow, we don't have any of that where I'm at. But what we did demonstrate today, or at least I did, and what people learned is that the one image. Did you see the image of the woman and the guy and the silhouettes? You did not.
Which one?
You were not paying attention. You were not paying attention to the show. You're busy doing your own thing. So
yeah, tonight I wasn't watching. I just came on right now. I just thought to say hey, anyways.
So this is how magically wild and crazy. I shouldn't say crazy. It was what a special Monday was with the the conveniently canceled dentist appointment. And the things that I filmed, bro, I mean, it's just like you're going to go, what? I mean, I'm not kidding. There's I filmed more than just Bigfoot, people in the trees. Those that are found, they saw people.
Dude, man, did you see the picture that I posted?
Not yet. Which ones?
I posted. I mean, not to jump in and talk on your stuff here, but I posted a picture on my TikTok, and of course I thought I sent it to you, but I guess I didn't yet. But there's literally a fucking dude in the tree in the moss, man. You cannot not see it. It's literally there. I seen it in real time, obviously, right? That's why I took a picture of it. So it's literally the tree. It is a person, man. It's wild.
So here's one here. Just one example. Is that the one I want to start with, though? Because I don't know if the I got some pretty wild. You talk about wild. You talk about wild. This is a person in a tree, right? Now let's pay attention to what we got going on. It's a woman in a black robe. This is her head. This is the robe around her, wraps around her. This is one of her kneecaps. And this is the other knee. And okay, you will see what I'm saying. Okay, so this is one of her legs. It's not a tree. This is kneecap.
I'm not really seeing what you're doing here.
Huh?
Are you doing anything? I don't see anything.
Oh, that's the problem. That's a big problem. I need to present. Thank you for saying that. Okay, enter, share. So this is a being, a human being of some sort, which actually has look at infant or something. It's like a woman that's just perched in that damn tree. Watch this. Okay, let's start over again. So this is the baby that she's holding. This is like a black robe that's around her, or okay, it's a black robe. This is the head right here. You can see the eyes. First of all, it's a little bit ghoulish, but there's an eyeball right here, an eyeball right. There's the nose. There's the teeth and the mouth. It's all like a shriveled up face. Okay, this is one of the knees, kneecap, and it's very red. And I have, I think it's because the energy that's being promoted or pushed in this tree to have this manifest. Now here's the thigh, the kneecap, and there's the ankle. Then there's the calf, and there's the back of the thigh. And look how big its feet are. It's these big giant feet.
But
can you see it?
You're back now. Yeah, I can see what you're saying. Definitely. I see the head down here. I totally get what you're saying.
There's the baby. There's the baby.
Mm-hmm.
You see the nose, The mouth. There's the two eyes. He's wearing some kind of
Yeah.
hat too. And then
The
there's
face, yeah,
this
sideways. It's
woman right here.
sideways. Yeah, I see it 100%.
That was Monday. That's one of the things I filmed in my neighbor's yard. That's
So
how
weird, dude. Because I see like
super
three faces
energetic
in a
and
row too. There's always so much going on, man.
right. And this in the tree, man. And I'm just like, what? The life. I am getting the impression that the tree is like all the trees are like highways, if you will, from the underworld to the middle world to the upper world and back, right? And they use the life force and the energy from these and the energy that comes from these trees, right? To help them manifest and come out and that kind of stuff. But the thing is, it was in my neighbor's yard, and I just filmed it up in the air. Well, let's see what else. Yeah, we're looking at the same thing, aren't we? Oh, this is one of those Bigfoot. You missed that one. Of the Bigfoot that I filmed that Monday, popping out of a tree.
Wow.
Another one popping out of a tree. Oh shit!
One of those I've seen.
I want to show you this.
Coming out of that tree. Faces. Look at that.
It's acting funny. So this is a dude or a Bigfoot or a dude but it's a silhouette. It's a manifestation, a shadow on a tree. Okay, it's not from the branches, but you can see him sitting there. And watch when I bring it. This is his hand.
I see him 100%. His arms are on his knees.
Here's his head, and here's his nose. Here's his mouth and his chin and his neck. And there it is. But of course, then on top of it, because it always got a totem, these totem things, right? And you see how red it is. This is not the leaves budding out or anything. This is, this was taken last Monday. So it's cold and there's no leaves. Look at the guy on top. He's all red.
Mm-hmm. Is that eyes and a little mouth? Yeah.
All right.
And look on top of his head.
I know. They did something.
Look even up further. Look up further on top of that thing's head. That one. Up higher. Yep. Higher.
There's another one. There's one over here manifesting in the tree.
There. Yeah.
Let's see. But then there's a woman too. There's a woman right here. And you'll see clearly that it is. And you can see there's the face.
Oh, yeah.
Of one. Hold on a second. There's no totem thing going on here, right? Okay, if there's a woman's face right here, then there's like an apish face right here. And we haven't even got to the woman one. But you can see this apish face right here, right? Now it's on top of this one's head, if I can find it. Okay, here it is. So they're on top of this gal, this spirit that's manifesting out of the trees. Okay. Mm-hmm. So this is the things, this hair and all that. You gotta
look at that, man.
There's an eye right here. There's an eye right here. There's an eyebrow, there's a nose. You can see the mouth.
It looks like Michael Myers, man.
Well, it looks like an old hag or something. An old lady.
Hey, come on, Michael Myers, totally. Come on, side profile, Michael Myers.
Yeah, but this Michael hair, this kind of hair. Look at all the hair on it. Now look at the hair.
Not as long, but picture like an afro.
Can you guys see that? Can you all see what I'm talking about? There's a woman.
Yes, I can see it 100%. I get you, bro. I'm just cracking
out of the tree. So what's going on? What's going on is there's another realm, another interdimensional, sometimes ultra-dimensional realm that lives within the trees.
The fucking unseen world, bro.
What's that?
The unseen world. She's around all the time.
That's right.
Operating.
And the thing is how do we mature and grow as adults, as researchers, and accepting all this?
Don't ask me.
Don't ask you. What do you
I'm
mean?
just playing with you, bro.
Well, let me see. Is this is it okay if I share one of your images?
You have permission to share anything I've ever put online, man. Anything.
What's going on here? I don't even know why.
With you.
What is going on there that I saw? Oh yeah.
Look in the middle. I see a face right in the middle, dead middle.
Well, there's a shadow one that's you see the one's shadows that manifesting on the tree?
Frick, I see so much going on in this. Dude, I got some. Oh, man. Are you able to send me a message on Messenger right now so I can, without jumping out of this, I can possibly send you a picture right now?
Yeah.
Just send me a little thing so a bubble pops up.
A messenger?
Yeah, Messenger. If you can. I'll send you a picture. Pretty cool one that I had to screenshot it out of my video today, but I thought you would like it. So I was like, I wanted to show you. And I got lots more coming your way, dude, that you're going to just.
You just want me to just like a thumbs up?
Yeah, yeah. Just send me a thing so I can send a picture to you there real quickly.
I got to talk to Craig as well. I got to thumb you up again. There you go.
Perfect.
So, I mean, it's all part of the research. It's all part of the journey. And, it's like, what am I looking here at?
Take a look. Tell me what you see.
I don't know. It's in an angle.
Oh, it's a screenshot of my video that I screenshotted this out of the video that I was my live premiere.
Okay.
When I was at my brother's, I screenshotted it because I wanted you to see this. What are you seeing?
Hold on a second.
I got other pictures for you. This was just easiest for me to do at the moment.
That's the wrong number. Did you get yourself some brown ones?
It's possible. We were surrounded by a family that night. This is the thing, bro.
They're everywhere. There's all sorts. Problem is, there's all sorts of spirits all around. So you can't just like. What I'm trying to tell people is,
bro. Listen, when we went in there today or on the Saturday, when we came out, there was this log that we all sat on our way back out of the forest. There was a piece of fungus there that was flipped upside down waiting for us. That was literally like, it was waiting for us. My buddy told me
is this the guy right here?
Yep. I see lots of stuff going on there, but in the background is what I wanted to show you, that one.
This one right here?
Yep.
The guy, this is his head?
Mm-hmm.
And he's got like a little clump or something on his 2 eyes, there's nose, mouth, and then he's got that. And he almost looks like, dude, he's like an Indian. That's an Indian.
Man.
That's an Indian spirit. Look at he's even got, you could even see some of the ornamentation, right there. And the way it's manifesting with the bark, it's almost like he's wearing like a traditional outfit, or some kind of ceremonial outfit or warrior outfit made out of leather. I can see his shoulder and the neck.
I tell you, man, there's
look, because his head is shaved too. I would argue that was a Native American spirit.
No, I see, man. I do. There's
this is the thing. That's the part that people have a problem with, is that there's a whole bunch of human spirits that are still around, right? That are still part of this realm, that are part 100%. Of interacting with, quote unquote, our Sasquatch, or interdimensional things. These, in other words, they're ultra-dimensional, like super spirits.
Yeah, man.
They can be in more than one place. And that's an awesome image.
I got more coming, dude. You're like I said, you're literally you're gonna lose your mind when I send you these pictures, dude. I sent you 50 pictures, but there's like that isn't even the start, dude. There's some amazing stuff coming. Like I have to select every single one out of my OneDrive to send it to you.
Do you guys see this WC7 or the rest? Anybody else there? Can you see the Native American or the dude popping out of that tree? Can you guys tell me if you see what I see? I know it's blurry but as you remember, it's a spirit, it's interdimensional spirit. Remember that it's not flesh and blood. Thank goodness for it. Can you imagine? Thumbs up. Okay, cool. That's a damn cool. That's like a screensaver shot. Actually, it's pretty cool. Dude. It's like to put on your computer, man. What do they call that?
That like this. What do you call it? I forget what it's called too now. But I know what you're talking about, man.
That is awesome. You can see the shoulder. You can see the what do you call that? The muscle that goes up.
Let me see. I'll send you. I should be able to have it right here somewhere. Yeah, here's the Moss Man, bro.
The Moss Man.
Tell me you don't see the Moss Man on this tree. I just sent you another picture.
Let's see. We'll go here and let's get out of here. They're everywhere. So the thing is, how do you embrace it? How do you embrace it so you don't act like, oh my God?
Obviously, I spotted this dude in real time. I mean, how could I not?
Because you really did it. Did you get it, Moss Man? Crazy.
This guy's made out of moss. I mean, he's a tree, but
are you still live on your TikTok?
No, I'm not on TikTok. I decided I'm going to just jump on yours tonight and just chat with you for a few.
Yeah, man, you missed some great images, honestly.
I was on my premiere till 8 o'clock, bro.
Shocking images in my book. And, people might think I'm being arrogant or something like that, but I'm just trying to be honest. I mean, just amazing images that makes a person think about what we're doing when it comes to Bigfoot research, right? There's what's really going on, and how come the guys don't? Hey, let's see.
Look at that. The arm is the branch, and then he's got a chest. To see the face right there, right above the chest. His arm's going like this.
Is this his face?
Yep.
Let's see.
And then he's got a chest, he's got a waist, he's got legs, everything. Go down.
Is that his mouth?
You see his waist, and then you see legs.
His legs right here?
Yeah, if you zoom in, you see them legs, everything, knees, everything. Down to the feet. There you go.
He even got toes.
It's crazy, right?
What is his arm?
Oh, that's his leg. See, you gotta look at it in a bigger picture. Like that's like right from that point is like basically the branch is his arm like this, going like this, right? If you can see that,
it's cool, man. It's a cool image. Very cool.
Well, there's so much other stuff.
You got a dude right here going on.
Oh, bro, there's so much.
You got another like right there.
Yeah, I could pull out like we were talking about before, man. I swear, everything is made out of this stuff, right? Everything. This whole world we live in is literally made out of this stuff, man. So you take, especially up here, man, where I am, where I'm taking these pictures, that's all there is, man. It's all you see, and it's crazy because you've been showing me this stuff, man. I've been seeing it a lot more lately.
War Crime 7, you want to join us, you can join us as well. I'll send you a link and you join. Anybody can join us.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate that you did, brother.
Yeah, everybody join in, man. Let's chat about this. I
Because
mean, I
what
won't
we're
be on for
dealing
too
with
much
is
longer
it's
because I got to go to work in the
multidimensional,
morning.
we're dealing with the multidimensional parallel realms all around us. They are,
100%.
and they are part of the ether, and the ether is, I honestly, at this point, with my research, I think they are the electricity. They are the air. They are the wind. Just like our people make fun of it.
I
This
see that,
Western,
bro.
it's
I can get
200
that.
years. But with our education, it's who cares if you're a novice? Who isn't? I'm a novice. I'm a novice. Okay. But I'm the thing is, for my research, because I mean, I film entities in the stars, so they're really close. And I really believe the number of spirits that are out there that they do interact and are part of the wind, part of the energy. They are part of everything. When we talk about God, life, and creation, everything, they try to convince us that there's giant space. There's nothing, all this empty space. None of that's real. Everything's full of life. You just have to be in the right light spectrum, the light EMF or electromagnetic frequency to see it, to feel it, to recognize it. But it's there. They're everywhere. You can't, if you try to pretend, I'm telling you, we were poisoned so bad with our education. They
Oh,
lied
hell
to us.
yeah, man.
And
All of it.
there's all this, the indigenous people, North America, they all believed, they actually believe the spirits actually created the air and light and the wind. And that's because it's true. They didn't believe it. They knew
It's
it.
wild, man. Like the native people were so spiritually connected to the creator source and all that stuff. And this is why they wanted to, this is why they did what they did, right? To not let people have that connection. It's a very strong connection, right?
I think it's a female Sasquatch.
I'm talking about just the native people, their ways.
Is there a possibility that this moss person that's manifesting out of this tree of yours, is there a possibility it's a female? Because it kind of looks like a boobs.
Well, yeah, it does, doesn't it? It definitely does. Those are big old pecs if it's a male.
If it's a male, or if it's just a woman, which there's nothing wrong with it being a woman.
No, not at all.
If that's the arm, and this is the other arm, then that means these got to be boobs.
Mm-hmm. See, stop right there.
Dude, but what happens at night? I'm totally convinced this is what they do. They live off the life force of the trees. They just absorb. They go into the trees, and at night they come out of the trees. So this would be a big one if it came out of the trees, right?
Oh, truly a giant. Probably be about 20 feet tall.
And then the thing is, and it probably, some dude Yahoo tried to take a shot at it and just go right through it, and then I don't know how you kill these things. Not you hear all the stories about these dudes with their guns in the military. I don't know. I mean, there's always that chance. I always got to say that, but I mean, how do you kill something like that when it manifests?
I don't think there's a need to. If there was a need to, I mean, we would be clearly we'd know about it. I think, as in like, we'd hear a lot more about bad things happening. I guess more so, right?
I think that it's more they respond to the aggression and the negativity, or I don't know what it is. Well, when you're at there, ask them what's the deal. Why do they have acceptance and patience for some and not for others? What's the deal, right? Ask them. I'm not going to assume, But there's a reason for why do some of us be able to see these things and others can't? You know what I mean? What
I
is
think
it?
it has to do with the vibrational thing, like the person themselves are vibing more at the frequency level the Sasquatch are, because they're more spiritually connected, spiritually evolved, fucking, stuff like that, right?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like because me and you are more spiritually evolved than some others, we've seen these things. We've encountered Sasquatch. We've seen UFOs, interdimensional craft. Only the, I don't know, chosen people get to see this stuff, man.
Imagine having that be in your front, like your God, what the hell they call those things now? What is that thing on your front? Guys, you remember anybody's listening to what do they call the image you put on the
Thumbnail.
thumbnail could be it? No. Anyways, can you imagine having a big poster or something like that on there? Or you ask, hey, do you got a girlfriend? Yeah, here. Here's my girlfriend. Is she a beauty?
Everybody knows my old lady's interdimensional, all right?
It's bizarre how it works, man. It's cool. And I'm kind of getting to the point. It's like tonight is talking about. You have to get the point. You just stop. You have to get the point that they're just as common as the birds
If not more common, man.
Yeah, I mean they're just part of God's creation. It's you don't have to mess with them. You don't have to try to worship them or try to get something out of them like a lot of people do. You can just allow them be. They are and you are. I think there'll be another one right there for some reason. Well, for some reason, there always more one. Let's see what else. There's something else I saw that was. So how you feeling, man? You sound tired. Besides
me?
Yeah.
It's my bedtime. It is. But I'm just on here for a few with you tonight. I've smoked a lot tonight.
Yeah.
I'm sending you a couple more pictures right now.
That guy. You see that guy right there? That's in it's her. You see the shadow of her breast, but there's actually another guy like manifesting on her butt. It's kind of interesting. Or no, wait, whoa. Maybe it's not. What is right here around the waist? What is this? Is this her hair? Why is it so black there?
Weird.
Yeah, it's very cool stuff, man. Thank you for sharing that one.
Yeah, man, I got more coming.
God. He's bombing me, people. He's bombing me. Oh, there's the root. There's the root. Some guys, I don't know who it was, but someone, I can't remember, complaining about the image. I did a video of, that dog man that you filmed and that clan. He's it's too fuzzy and blurry. And so they're spirits. What do you want? I can only make them stick out so much. What do you want? It's like they're for a family portrait. Jeez, the guys themselves didn't even see it. It was right in front of their faces. What do you want? That's interesting.
Man. Right?
That'd be something that
see this area. This is the entire video.
Imagine if Diesel showed up here with his camera, man. He'd be picking this stuff apart.
Dude, I can't wait to when I get a better camera here, right? I have about, I have a few G's saved up to blow on cameras and stuff like that. So soon enough, I'll have better camera equipment.
I think that's what they do. There's no other explanation. There's no other way of explaining it. They live in the trees. They use the life force of the trees. And then the trees, at times, they use so much of it or so much energy that they break. I mean, how do they just come out of the ground like that? Now, the easy thing to say is they're so massive and big and they just push it over, right? Well, what about this? What if there's some kind of EMS, some kind of electrical thing that happens or energy thing that happens in which when they come out of the trees, it actually causes the trees to lift up or fall, or you know what I'm saying?
See, can I see this giant pit bog here in the middle?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm totally just jumping in over you here again.
That's okay. That's what you're here for, to jump over me.
But but do you think it's odd? Like we walked by this big log, right? I don't think this is the exact log, but say this is it's pretty much the same size. We walked by it. We sat there for a moment. We went for about an hour or so more into the bush, down to this creek. We got surrounded by Sasquatch. Literally, they were popping their heads out of the trees, like little black things are
I,
coming out of the trees and
I've,
moving.
I've done that. I've seen that. You know what that means?
We were literally surrounded. Me and my brother. My
And do you
brother's
see
seen
that?
about two or three,
When
and
did
I
this
seen
happen?
three.
How many times has that happened in the past couple weeks where you've seen heads popping up?
Not too much, but it's been happening more. It's often now. Like every time I go out, I see something
Building
now.
up. You know what that means?
Dude, the family's
I
coming.
like to say from my own experience is what I before my first encounter, that's exactly what I started to happen the first couple of weeks before I ended up having that first encounter, in which he got 15 feet in front of my face next to that Crow Indian. I was seeing heads pop up. And I think what they're doing, part of what they're doing is they know that you know. And so the next thing is then they test you and see how you're going to respond to it at some point until they feel like they're confident enough to reveal themselves completely.
Check this out, though, okay? Now, when we walked past this log, we went down to this area where it's like it goes down to like a valley or a little like gully where a creek runs through. We're down here. We're being surrounded by them up here. They're literally surrounding us on both sides of the creek. We end up walking out of there and past that log again. And literally, where is it here? I have it right here.
This reminds me of Nottingham and Sherwood Forest when I lived in England. It looked just like that.
Right? This here.
Look at that guy right there, pop manifesting.
See this?
Here,
fungus. Can you see it?
Yeah. Okay. All right.
When we came back to the log, this was sitting there. It wasn't there when I got video of it. It wasn't there when we went by it. When we came back, it was sitting there waiting for us like this.
Where the wild things are. It's a little gift to you, dude. I guess.
I'm telling you.
Is it a gift? Is it a gift, or are they're just seeing if you recognize it? And they're like, are they playing games with us?
Well, check this out. My buddy, native guy, told me that looks exactly like the stuff they collect to smudge evil spirits away.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Now, how do you smudge the evil spirits away?
You would dry this and then powderize it or whatever and burn it, smoke.
Well, you know, I if people only
gifted to us, man, gifted to us.
Like the manifestation of the Patterson film, the amount of shamanic rituals that were going on during that time would shock people, and I'm strongly believe that's the reason why they manifested. You know, I mean, and they were having issues with the logging company and the federal government and the state of California because of, you know,
hey, watching your video the other day with MK Davis talking.
You should have spent that conversation last night. It would blown up. If you guys missed such an amazing conversation.
Did he say something about animation?
Animation. I don't know.
Or did he say animated?
Oh, I don't know. What was it about?
About her hand.
Oh yeah, it's animated. It's not animation. Her thumb was moving. They started a thumb movement in her hand.
Yeah. I was like, whoa. That's the only part I caught. him saying that. I was like, "Whoa, what?"
So it's let's see, where was that? Is that the same one?
It's the one with the Dogman Clan video.
Right.
The video he made of.
I still think that while we're at it, let's look at that image because I don't know if anybody in this room has seen it, but I think it's a very special image, and I think it's amazing image too, and it demonstrates the multi-layered dimensional thing we're dealing with. And these guys, you guys filmed it in front of your mugs, and you didn't even see it. Now, this is
As we
important.
do most of the stuff, right?
So people, look at this. Anybody's watching this is very important. So this is the tree. This is where the root ball is. In the camera, the root ball, the things are manifesting. This is fascinating. I don't even know how anybody can miss this. Look at the size of this sucker right here. You can see the ear right here, the ear right here. You see the nose right here. You see the big mouth and the tongue. You can see one eye there, one eye, and it's translucent. It's massive. Then you got something right here and right here. You got another guy poke, right?
It's like always, man. So much going on as usual.
Look at that one. You got the ear there and the ear there. It's like a dog man or something, but there's another guy right there. There's another mass. But then, of all things, they gave you this dude right here.
The real deal.
And he looks just like a dog, man. You see, look at he's got the thumb, he's got the fingers.
Just reaching out,
man.
Tree.
He's got the other hand right there, and he got eye, and a nose. And yeah, so it's blurry. Well, what do you want from spirit realm? But there it is. I mean, you can try to rationalize it and say it's part of the tree or it's some kind of roots or something like that. But I'm sorry, it sticks out like a sore thumb. And if you can't see that, I don't know what a guy has to do to convince you that these things are real.
I know, like, on my live earlier, I was showing people this picture, and I'm like, come on, like, you don't see the arm and this being like the head? Nobody could see it. Oh, some people seen it, of course, but some people were like, no, I can't see nothing. Can't see it. Plainly obvious that it's there.
Maybe they don't want to.
I was thinking that.
I was talking to God earlier during my break, and I said, God, maybe this just really is true. Maybe there's some people are meant to see it, and most aren't. They're just not meant to see it. There's no judgment.
The chosen, the awakened.
But I think when I say this is a dog man, there's another thing. It's not a grown adult. It's an infant. Look how small it is compared to all the rest of them. And just by the logs and the tree and all that, what is it, about maybe max 6 feet? Max. Probably more like 4 or 5 feet tall. But I'm not there, so I can only guess. But there it is. And you didn't see it. You didn't see it at all. And you didn't see this big thing, cow, dog, man thing too, just manifested. I think it's special. I think it's really cool. I think it's not, and it's not the thing's not doctored at all. There's nobody playing with it, no twisting of it. It's right there. And people don't
all
like
natural, it. Baby, all natural.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. It's all spiritual. It's ultra-dimensional. We call it spiritual because we don't have any other better way of describing it. You might call it ultra-dimensional, interdimensional.
I just call them, I say it all now, man. I call them the dimensionals, ultra-dimensionals, the inters, it's all the same thing. They're fucking just very special, man.
And they live off the elements. They live off the soil. They live off the tree. They live off...
They use them, right? They use them too, right? They don't just live off them. They use them to move through the world.
Absolutely. From one realm to another. And God knows what the underworld is. Is it like what the Christians try to say, Dante's Inferno type of thing? Or is it more of just a different type, more a different density of world? It's just another type of world. You know what I mean?
Like, do some of them come from this underworld, like the place where it's like second density. You know what I mean? Where it's less. They're lesser. I don't know what you want to say. Not lesser beings, but they are though, right? They're
Who
like
knows? Who knows what's under there? Honestly, who really knows what's? You can't trust. Listen, the people are telling us what things are have lied to us about every damn thing. I'm not just saying that. I'm not just being
well, I
judgmental.
know, man. I
They,
believe that fully.
so if I can film entities in the Mars, that means that they're not. Mars is not what they say it is.
It's got to
It's
be a
not,
lot closer.
and it's not a. It's not a big giant rock. They
Hmm.
lied to us. That's the reason why they had to make up all these CGIs and these artist renderings and do all these movies that are all make believe to
Here's a
brainwash.
question for you. Do you like looking at Mars and all this and that? Do you think it's still, if there is no space, say, is it possible that these things that we are looking at are still bodies like planet like places where there could be life that come from these places? Or are we
Yeah,
looking
but
at like,
if you're talking
or are we
about the
looking
light,
at like entities like plasma forces up there? Like,
right? Well, they're not of this density of this physical realm. They're still a realm. It's still just think of it like this. It's just like it is now, and we go somewhere else. It's just we all end up there, right? In some other place. It will be a less. It will be a different electromagnetic frequency, a different density, and it will be. It will seem just like it is now, but it just will be different. And I don't know. Here's a good question: how often? Well, obviously they see us. It's almost like I honestly, I'm getting to the point where I'm thinking that we're the show for them.
oh yeah,
If they can
for
see
sure.
us and we can't see them, and if there's things up in the sky and in the stars and in the planets, and if the planets aren't all that, we just imagine that we are their kind of show, just like the stars are our show, or these things now have become our show. You know what I mean? It's like they're watching us, observing us, paying attention to us, and
Yeah.
I wonder if it's almost like we're in a giant, like we're the ones in the zoo, in a giant
I
zoo.
believe it, man. I do. I do believe it.
Because I mean, you're watching this, and you can see it's clear they're watching you, right? They're paying attention to you, but you had no idea they're there. These spirits that I'm filming in the trees,
It's funny
they're
now, though,
watching.
bro, because ever since I've been really, you know, we've been chatting for a while now, man. Like, we've been talking back and forth for a while, but lately I've been getting more into this, right? And
You
like
know,
this whole time I went out on Saturday, it was like go time, man. I was seeing this shit in real time happening. Like tons of stuff was going on, man.
this
Like,
guy's interesting. I don't know if you ever saw this. I never shared this one, but this guy's
oh,
interesting.
that's nice.
Now he's weird. He's got the ear right here. He's got this moss-like hair, or maybe he's got this. You see the eyes. You see the eyebrow. You see the eyes, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's him.
That's cool, man.
It's just it's just sticking out, man.
It's so wild, man. I could literally just see so much in almost all these pictures, man.
Yeah, once
So
you
much
break
going
away
on.
from the biases and the prejudice that the indoctrination has been that forced on us to. I mean, I think it's for most part, most people are useful dupes. I don't mean to be disrespectful. We all are in our own way, right? But when we follow the crowd,
Did
we're
you just say
constantly
useless?
useful dupes.
Okay.
No, in other words,
I thought you said useless, and then you said, I don't mean to be disrespectful. I'm like, what are you trying to say, bro?
well, I want to try to say is that we're
Are
all
you
at
trying to
some
call
level
me
or that.
useless,
And what
dude?
happens, the people who indoctrinate us and educate us and propagandize us, right? And social engineer us to think a certain way. It takes a lot of effort to break free to be able to see that. It's basically a lot of energy to break away and to see the
For
monster.
the average person that does break away, we're not the average person. We're a little different, okay? But the average person that does, when they do break away, their whole world's flipped upside down. They don't know what the fuck is going on.
Well,
You
I
know,
was that. I'm that. I'm just now coming to terms with all this. Believe me, if you'd have
boys,
met me
you were one of them, man.
if I had 6 years ago, I'd calling all these things demons. I'd be calling every single. It's all demonic. It's all demons, right? It's all fallen angels, all demons. But it was ignorance on
I
my
get
part.
you.
You know
I
what I
get
mean?
you.
It's ignorance and
It's so weird to me, man.
indoctrination. Right?
Yeah, it's weird, man. I've always been into like so okay with everything. Nothing's ever really phased me that way.
Well, I think it's there's the guy right there too, man. There's a lot of guys in there. Look at this guy that's looking behind a tree right there. You see two
Oh,
eyes.
fuck yeah. I see that guy.
He's like, "Hey, what you doing there, buddy? Jared, what are you doing, man? We're gonna be visiting you soon, brother." Yeah. Well, why is that? Why do you think you were so more
I say, man, I was born awake, man. I was born awakened.
yeah,
Been
well,
like this all my
something.
life.
Well, maybe God just
People
made it.
talk about these weird things they've experienced. Okay, like this is gonna sound really weird, right? But like um, people have talked about going through spiritual awakenings and hearing like weird sounds and stuff, right? Like hearing radio frequencies popping into your head. You ever hear that before?
No, I haven't had anything like that yet.
Well, it's happened to me my entire life since I was a child, and I've always thought it was normal. Okay, it's like you'll be in your brain, all of a sudden you hear like a frequency come in where it's like a radio channel like going back and forth, like it's coming in. You literally hear like a frequency coming in, and it's happened to me my entire life since I was a child, like a little kid, like back as far as I can remember. And it's weird because I thought it was just something everybody went through, and like everybody had this happen to them, right? Like, I thought it was normal. And then my twin brother started having it happen to him when he was like 2 years ago, or like a year and a bit ago. And I'm like, what are you talking about, dude? You've never had that happen to you before? Like, I've been dealing with this my whole life. And I believe it's because I am connected straight to fucking whatever, right? The source, the creator. I'm a freaking chosen one, bro. I'm okay with everything. Nothing phases me.
Well, I hope. I,
I know I sound like a nutball saying this stuff, but it's
no, you
true.
don't. No, you have your own journey, your own path, and it shall be very interesting. It's really easy for me to be very biased and judgmental and say, "Oh, really? Well, just wait until it happens." Listen, for all I know, you are right. I mean, that it is the case, and when I mean that, I'm not trying to be flippant or disrespectful here. I'm just saying I know Jack. The more I learn, the more I realize how little I know. And so I'm just like,
100%.
dude, if that's how it is for you, I'm cool with it, man. You know what I mean? I hope it's awesome and he has amazing experiences and you see some things
I've had experiences, dude. I've had experiences where literally I was in meditation and then I opened my eyes and in my bedroom, I'm literally surrounded by these rainbow colored green, blue, and then rainbow colored orbs that are surrounding me from an upside down cyclone coming out of my ceiling. Okay,
really,
they like surrounded me in swirls, thousands of them, and my eyes are wide open. And after my meditation, I'm looking around, and this is happening to me in my bedroom.
and you're like, cool, man, cool.
Yeah, man, totally. Exactly what I was like.
I don't know what to do about it. I mean, to live your whole life in fear about all this stuff, that sucks. I can tell you that. And then, and yeah, so a lot of these things are freaks and they look like something to be in a horror movie. I imagine they think the same thing about me. I'm not the prettiest thing in the world either. So maybe it's about just learning to just let go and let God and just accept all that is. And the more you do it, the more you see. The more He allows to be revealed to you. It's God's will that you're seeing these things, regardless of where you're at. Compared to what other people think you should be or where you should be. God knows, and God has His own
Hey,
purpose
man.
for you.
For the moment and at the moment, we are where we need to be, man.
And this what's interesting about this, there's like an alien looking dude here. Go to there, someone here. But once he gets too close, it's.
I see him. I see multiple of them.
But from a distance, it's like an alien there. It's certainly not a melon. It's too round. I mean, I don't know. Is there plants like that? What would cause that to be so round?
No.
There is something right here too, but this thing right here is massive something. What is that? That's like almost the definition of a dog man. Did you film?
They're very well known to be in this area where we are, especially
Now,
where the force is. Yeah.
Now, either this is a stacking of entities, or I'm doing another totem, or that's actually something that kind of looks like a dog man. A dog
does.
and a man. Like a real dog man, not like a wolf or anything like that. Or a werewolf. It's cool, man. Whatever it is.
Talking about a real dog man.
Yeah, it looks just like a dog, man. Hey, dog. When they see him say, "Hey, dog," what's up, dog? Hey, Snoop Doggy Dog, what you doing there, bro?
Nice, man.
It's something, man.
Definitely.
I think when you first see this stuff, at least for me, everything's real weird and ugly, and it's in this. But as time gone, then you change your mind. You're like, okay, this is probably just like being in a cave full of insects and all that. All of it looks real weird and ugly when you first see it, right? Until you get accustomed and used to it, right? I think that's part of the problem. And part of the problem too is also with Hollywood, and how all this endless horror movies
Programming, man.
it is, and people and they love their horror movies, and the problem is they don't realize what's really happening to them. And what's happening to them is you're becoming completely twisted in your
I
thinking.
definitely think they brainwashed us to think that Sasquatch and Dogman are bad, and like they're monsters, right?
That's right.
Because I have heard of good encounters with dogmen as well as bad ones, but I've never heard of one really, other than the famous LBL stories or whatever that I'm sure you know about
which
them.
you can't verify for your life,
Right? So I mean, that's the only dogman attack I've ever heard of. Okay, so I don't think they're vicious. I think it's all bullshit, that stuff anyway. So I think if these things were as bad as they are, they would be fucking. We'd hear about them a lot more, man. Attacking and doing stuff like that, right?
We would be getting pecked off left and right, is what would happen.
Fucking rights, we would be.
We never even got to the point of making a nuclear bomb or a shotgun, or a single shot, whatever. Muzzle
the amount of power these things have, like they could have fucking took us out a long time ago, right? For sure. And they would have, if that was the case, need be. But then that's not what's happening here, right?
Right, because they don't want us having a relationship with these things.
There's something to it. There's a spiritual weird connection to it.
Listen to me. Hear what I have to say. Really hear what I have to say. They don't want us to have a relation with these things. And they've gone way out of their way to make sure that it never happens. In fact, everything about what they teach us is to make sure we never have any relationship with the other side. It's all demonic, and the only thing there is Jesus and God. That's it. Nothing else. Forget it. It's all us. Apparently it's not all this, because we're looking at some of it. So they lied to us about all this, and they minimized it to the point that they really have polluted our minds. They think that anything that looks, is is like this, there's evil, right? It's all evil. It's all out to kill you. And then you're just like, well, and then you hear people say that they feel dread. Oh, sure you did. I'm sure you're probably in a spot you weren't supposed to be, and they didn't want you there, so they scared you away. But but you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the reality of things. There's going to be times when you feel absolute terror from these things. Other times, I think they might even save your life. I think that that's happened to me with these guys. And there's a lot of those times it's just nothing going on. There ain't nothing. You just live your life, and they're living their life, and there's times when you intersect, and most of the time you don't. Does that make sense?
It does.
It
does.
Okay, man. It sounds like you're tired. It's another 3.5 hour show. I hope people that hears this that they really. I mean, dude? Go back and listen to the very beginning of this and watch.
I'm gonna be watching this in the morning on my live, bro.
But the things drive me nuts, man. I'm sharing real knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even bragging because it doesn't take very much. All it does is just show you care enough to tell people the truth, or do you just want to entertain people? Is this all an ego trip? Is this all about numbers? Is this all about having 100 people listening to another story? Is this story time? Is this all this is? Because that's all it is. I don't want it.
That's awesome, bro. Yeah, no, you know what we're about.
Yes, I do, and it's fast. I can't imagine what you're gonna. Just imagine when you get the image and that beauty. What are you gonna do?
Come right to O.R.d.
Thank you. And the other thing is, gosh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful country. Keep it up. Keep making those images,
brother. You have to go watch the latest video. You are going to lose your mind when you see it.
Okay.
When you have a moment, check it out, bro.
When we're done here, I'll watch it in about 5 minutes here because I'm done. I've been doing this for 3 hours, 3.5 hours.
Okay, time to shut her down, guys.
Thanks for joining me, bro.
Yeah, no worries, brother. I'll talk to you soon, man.
Everyone else is still sticking it out. Thank you. War Crime 7, thank you. Let's see if remember some other people's. Of course, Jared from the Sasquatch Confessions. Rachel J. Amber. Let's see who else. Steve, thank you for being there. Steve West. Chrissy, as always, thank you. And who else am I forgetting? Diesel, okay, for being there. Thank you. Oops. I'm sure I'm missing someone else. Anybody else I'm missing? I'm sorry. Oh, of course, Sheldon. Sheldon, the man. If you're still there, that'd be amazing. If not, it's okay. Thank you for being there. You're my right-hand man. And Sheldon, another fellow Ohioan who's seen a dog, man. And he's a good guy, man. So, everyone, thank you.